Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Hivemind Recap Podcast. April 2026 is in the books. It's behind us. And we are not 3 weeks late into the next month to recap it.
Just 3 days.
We are on the money with scheduling this month's recap, and I could not be more excited. I was going back through our past monthly playlists, and dare I say, this is the best month that we have had in 2 years.
In 2 years?
Nah,
Incorrect.
I'm going back to April 2024 when Letters Sent Home, Foxblood, and Edola all dropped on the same day. That's, I think, the last month that I think we had a month this good.
Look, I don't have anything
hence
prepared.
why I have hijacked so much of the songs for this playlist.
I will fight you in the future.
Yeah, see,
I
that's the thing is, I can't name a better month, but it doesn't feel right. Like I can't agree with that statement out of principle.
That's why I looked into it. I'm like, damn, this is by far my favorite month of 2026 so far. But I'm like, when was the last month that I felt this passionately and this strongly about the music that we're talking about? And I just kept going back through the playlist, and I was like, what was it, September 2024 when Rain City Drive dropped album of the year? But the rest of that month was just, it was good.
November last year had some good hits. That
was Caskets and Valiant Hearts. That was definitely,
that was Caskets.
That was
Rune,
good.
South Arcade, Violent Vera, A Mice and Man.
I have an
Prada.
avocado.
Wow,
Sure.
that's a tiny ass avocado.
It's on my desk. I don't know why it's here.
Oh, bro, is it like an actual avocado?
Yeah.
What? Bro, why do you have that?
I have a Tepig. Any Tepig enjoyers?
I remember.
I have.
That's my boy Hormel. What do I have?
Ah, shit. I have Waddle Dee.
I have this elephant.
And
That's an awesome elephant. That's an awesome duck.
That's the elephant from Bring Me the Horizon song Teardrops. Boom, transition to concert talk.
True. I know you went to go see that show. I'm definitely kind of kicking myself for not pushing to go to that show more. I was hanging out with my sisters, and they're not huge rock and metal people by any means, but I told them that Bring Me the Horizon was playing in Worcester, and both of them were like, I would have entertained the idea and probably would have gone with you if you asked. And I'm like, man,
could have gone. Honestly though, I missed Amira Alfke. Doors were at 5, which is when I get off work, which is
absurd,
really
by the way.
stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I couldn't make it, and then I got to see Plot, which I don't know. Landon felt off to me. I don't know. They were okay, and it was, of course, it was all new songs, and then Feel Nothing, right? They played the new song that we're gonna talk about today. Yeah, but it was all EP volume songs, and then Feel Nothing, which was not my favorite. But
not a single song from Swan Song?
No.
Damn.
No.
Damn.
I
mean, I guess it kind of makes sense because it's an opener slot, and you only have so much time on a set like that.
Guess. How they probably played 7 or 8 songs.
Oh.
But yeah, we got to hear the new one, which is cool. But yeah, again, Landon felt a little off. I don't know if it's because he's not used to being in arenas. That might be it. And then Motionless was next. And
How was that?
I'm gonna use your joke. I was motionless and white.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I don't know. They even played Slaughterhouse, which is a thing I would have liked to see the most. But without Brian, man, the song's kind of boring.
Yeah. I think boring about sums up most of that discography, honestly. if I dare say so.
That's true.
Is Another Life the de facto closer to their set still? Or is
no,
it
was
something...
Eternally Yours.
Eternally Yours, okay.
Which was a pleasant surprise in my opinion, but they didn't do the like acoustic ending, which kind of disappointed me. Yeah, it was a pretty mediocre set, and I don't know if it's just like that last album really made me not care about that band at all.
Real.
Red,
I still
White,
remember,
and
what is that?
Boom.
Red, White, and Blue?
Red,
yeah,
White,
that
and Boom.
one. That shit still sucked. Dude, that song is so bad.
Yeah. But yeah, so and then Bring Me was next. And it was my first time seeing them headline, which is crazy to say since I've been listening to them for like 12 years now or something like that. Yeah, they were great. They play a lot of, like, I feel like, so I was with my friend and he said the set list was very similar to the live in Sao Paulo. Which he went and saw in theaters. So he was a little disappointed that it was very similar. Like, it wasn't exactly the same, but he was a little disappointed by that. I didn't see it, so I was fine with it. Yeah, I got Shadow Moses, which was great. Probably the main thing I loved about that night. What else? I don't know. Got Kingslayer. It was weird without Baby Metal, I guess.
Yeah, because they're such a core part of the song.
Yeah, exactly. But it was all right. And then they had like a guest, like they took someone from the crowd for Antivist, and she did pretty well. So I think it was staged.
I think I feel like they've been doing that for a while. I feel like I saw videos of them having a fan on for Antivist last year as well. Maybe,
well,
maybe it was a festival or like maybe something.
This is like the second leg of this tour, right?
Because they just announced the third one, so
which is coming back to me, kinda. A city close to me. I don't know if I want to go again. Like if the set list is gonna be like the exact same, I'm kind of yeah. And it's expensive too. Yeah.
I think that was the main reason why I didn't push very hard.
It was pretty expensive. Yep. But yeah, they were good. It was cool to see them with like, I guess like a state, like I guess it was cool to see them headline. I haven't seen them headline, so the stage was pretty cool. There was like a little bit of a story that was going on, but yeah.
I wish you could have at least heard one song by Amira, and hopefully it would have been like Forever Overdose, but that's okay.
No, I couldn't make it, man.
It's their fault for putting Doors at 5.
Yeah,
it's insane to me.
Yeah.
So when did the concert end then? Like what time?
10:30, 10:45 maybe.
Okay,
that's pretty standard.
5. Still, that's. I digress.
I mean, my show was basically the exact same thing, except doors were at 6, show started at 7, and it was done at 10:30, 10:45. I went to see Dayseeker on the Pale Moonlight tour, night 2 of the tour. So I was part of the second ever crowd to hear Nocturnal Remedy live, which was fucking awesome. One of the best songs off of that album, and was very happy that we got that. Like there were some other deep cuts that I was hoping to hear from their set, like Cemetery Blues and Soulburn. Would like to hear either of those, but neither of those made it. Meet the Reaper and Forgotten Ghost and The Living Dead. Or no, it's just The Living Dead and Forgotten Ghost both made the set, and they weren't my favorite off of the album. So if I was picking, I would have preferred Cemetery Blues and Soulburn to both of those, but both those songs were fine. They're both slower songs. Rory got on like a piano and started playing, and there was one song they did where he was the only person on the stage, which was pretty cool. Yeah, Dayseeker, this is now my 4th time seeing Dayseeker live. And consistently the crowds at Dayseeker shows sing back the lyrics louder than any other crowd I've ever been a part of. Every single time I get to see them. And especially the two songs that always stand, well, three, but one of them isn't on the set list anymore. It was Crooked Soul, Burial Plot, and Without Me. Those three songs were like consistently the ones where like they just had moments where Rory would point the mic into the crowd and the crowd would just belt them back louder than anything I've ever heard at any other show. Unfortunately, Crooked Soul is no longer on the set list. The only two remaining songs from Sweep Talk are Burial Plot and Sweep Talk itself. Everything else was either from Dark Sun or Creature in the Black Night. This tour was also the end of The Color Black on the set list, which was sad. As one of my favorite arguably my favorite Dayseeker song. But even with a lot of my favorites being gone, I had a fantastic time. Dayseeker were fantastic. I really enjoyed their set. I genuinely got baited into thinking they weren't going to play Neon Grave and that Sweep Talk was the last song they were going to play, and then there wasn't going to be an encore with Neon Grave. But then they came back out and played Neon Grave, and that was awesome. I guess the only other thing that happened was literally 30 seconds into Shapeshift, which was the second song on the set. Security had to get on stage and stop the show because some guy was moshing too hard in the center, and they had to like drag him out of the venue. And Rory was like, "Is it the guy with the beard?" And he's like in like a very obnoxious, like pissed off kind of tone of like, "Is it the guy with the beard?" Because apparently this guy was causing problems earlier on in the show as well. So that got dealt with. Show was great for the next hour after, but I just thought it was funny that we're literally 30 seconds into the second song. Like really. But that was Dayseeker's set. Openers were Sachi 6, Windwalkers, and Northlane. Sachi 6 were awesome. They played mostly, it was a mix of songs from Limerence and the single So Far for Brutalist. We definitely got Devotion. And then I can't remember because I don't remember Limerence that well. It wasn't one of my favorite EPs from last year, but I know we didn't get Easy Exit or Wake Up. So we must have gotten like Velvet or I don't know what the other songs are. But we definitely got Ego, Covet, and Allured back to back to back, which was awesome. They sound phenomenal live. I got to briefly talk to them at the merch table at the end of the night, asked them if they had any CDs so I could listen to the album early. They did not. They only had vinyl. I am sick and tired of this trend of bands only having vinyl on tour and not having CDs. Give me my coasters. Give me my coasters, please. I want them. And then I also got to see Windwalkers finally. Picked up this new hat. First apparel I've gotten at a show in like a year and a half. Am I pleased about paying $35 for a hat? No, but it's Windwalkers, and I need some Windwalkers merch in my life, so I will pay $35 for a hat, and it's a very nice hat. So, but yeah, they were great. Surprisingly, I was not expecting Body Bag to be my favorite song of their set list, but the crowd was absolutely loving Body Bag. They played 4 songs off the new EP. They did not play Funeral Balloons or Sink Into Me. And then I believe it was Drowning Hymns, Body Bag, Dead Talk, and Hangfire. Great set list. They sounded great live. There were a couple parts where I feel like they were using more vocal backing tracks than I was expecting, but like didn't really take away from the experience much. And Northlane were there too.
They played the new song. Enjoyment of Northlane.
They did play the new song. The set was actually, so I saw Northlane at this exact same venue when they opened for Plot last year. And their set list felt very different this time, other than closing with Clockwork. I once again did not recognize Carbonized until it hit the chorus, and Carbonized is like one of the 2 songs I like of theirs. So I'm now 2 for 2 for them playing a song of theirs that I like and not even knowing it's a song that I like until they say the name of the song. The new single Evian, which we are not talking about in this playlist, was also fine. The electronics are great.
Sponsored by the water company.
not to my knowledge. Actually, the coolest thing that happened during the Northlane set was Northlane's touring photographer came into the crowd and literally stood directly in front of me for like a minute straight. So instead of paying attention to what Northlane were doing, I just got to watch her take photos of the crowd and the band. And I got to like observe all the camera settings and like watch her like zoom the lens in. And I'm like, wait, this is awesome.
Did you learn something?
The camera nerd in me was like, well, it's like now like I've gotten to witness it like very close up on like what a touring photographer does with my own eyes. So like if I ever actually get to photo or video a show like that, now I at least have some semblance of an idea of if I'm using these settings, I know that person was using similar settings, so I can't be that stupid. So
oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, that was my first show of the year. The 6-month drought since I had last seen a show is over. It was fun.
I still need to find one to go to this year.
I'm going next week. Actually, I have to buy my tickets still. I'm going
I'm
to
contemplating going to one. I've got Thornhill and Fifth Row King are coming to the Norva this month. I just haven't decided if I'm going to them or not.
Who's mine? Oh, it's Colorblind, Wind Waker. If not for you,
if not for me, yeah, that's a
Not for
killer
me.
lineup. I wish that was coming to me.
I only know the one song by them, the very popular one.
Yeah. All right, I think we should get into this one's place. We're already like 15 minutes into this episode. We should talk about some music. If you want to follow us on social media at Hivemind Radio _ on Instagram and Twitter, Hivemind Radio on YouTube. We have been gaining subscribers like crazy. Shout out our shorts if any of you are listening to the podcast and also found us from the shorts. We appreciate it. And Hivemind Recap Podcast on Spotify and other podcast platforms. Justin, get us started.
Got a new band for the podcast. Got a few this month. We're going to start with Those Without with their first single, or their new single, Burning Down the Curtains.
Beneath the surface, I am burning down the colors, darling. I'm not hurting. No, I'm not hurting for you.
Of the 3 new bands that you're introducing us to this month, this is number 2 for me.
This is some good old pop punk.
I didn't really get
That's-
pop punk from this.
It's very like I think the drumming is very pop punk, but like the style itself screamed more like, I guess, not Midwest emo, but it's very like. Let me go ahead, Jake. I've got some bands that this brings me to mind, but I need to go
it's like,
find them in
it's
my
like
playlist.
State Champs. Like that's the vibe I got.
Yeah.
I thought this was good, though.
movement's adjacent side of pop punk.
Yeah.
But no, this
Yeah,
is fantastic. This reminded me a bit. The band I'm thinking of is called. They're a smaller band called Bike Routes. I don't think I've put any of their music in here yet, but very fast-paced drumming, sort of listful delivery. Yeah, it's fantastic. I was shocked to find out how relatively small this band is for what I was hearing. Like, obviously, we talk about some smaller ones, but that's only like what, 100,000? Yeah, 100,000 monthly listeners. This, we'll say it time and time again. This is better quality than some of the bands that have 10 times that listener amount. So I really enjoyed this.
Shout out Sweden.
They're from Sweden.
They are from Sweden.
Apparently,
You know
It
what? Of
sounds
course
like
they're
a
from
Swedish
Sweden.
band.
this is a whole EP.
It is?
Is
It's
it
the
whole
first song
EP?
on our new EP.
Oh. Wow, Justin, where's your due diligence?
Are we sure it's an EP?
They
or
have,
is it just
they have an
Well,
EP
it
that's
says-
not
it
marked
says
as the
just
EP.
released. Stream it now.
Actually, you know what? Now that you say that,
I think this might just be the Waterfall single release, and it's just a single
Yeah, I
that
think-
Spotify
I-
classifies it as an EP.
That's
think.
what I'm thinking, because I was trying to look
Could
and I
be.
didn't see anything either.
Yeah, because it's cool that they did a stylized cover for it, like specific to the single, but they also did that for one of the previous singles. So it looks like they're just doing it song by song. It looks like an EP
See,
cover.
this
though.
is the
Like-
problem with this format, man. It's confusing.
Yep.
It's so annoying.
That is true. That's fantastic. If this is eventually going to be, I don't know if it's a 6-7 track EP or something like that, or if it's going to end up being an album. But if it's an album, I'm very God damn, I realized that I did it as soon as I said it.
I was going to be so proud of us if we just completely let that slide and didn't mention it.
And of course, he's the oldest one, man. The oldest one here pulls out the fucking
the oldest
6-7.
one.
He is?
Yep.
What?
Yeah, he's February. I'm November. Same year.
Oh. Justin, why did I think you were like 2 years younger than Jake?
No, I thought I was
Old.
the oldest. I'm the oldest one, yeah. I'm March.
It's okay, Justin. The oldest comes with the most wisdom.
That is true. Such as
That
bands from
would
Sweden.
that would explain how he's always finding all the new bands.
That is true.
That would explain it.
His infinite wisdom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
The real
Were you gonna say something, Derek? Did I cut you off?
It completely irrelevant. You are
Okay.
all good. It was just going to be a comment about the development of my frontal lobe, and that it's all downhill from here.
Well, speaking of your frontal lobe, Holding Absence dropped a new song called "Whisper of a Dream."
Tunnel in my skin. It's hard to be whole. I'm mending a soul that I had broken. Should I rejoin?
And you dream in your brain, which is part of the frontal lobe.
What?
The brain is
What?
part of the frontal lobe.
That might
The
be
frontal
the
lobe is
best
part of the brain.
transition. That
Like,
might be the best transition we've had.
I was
I was a little
cooking
distracted by his
something.
avocado.
I was cooking something with that transition.
The frontal
It-
lobe.
I might
It's
have
killing
burnt
me.
it.
Why
but-
is it so small? I can't
don't know.
For non.
My wife just
for
left it
audio.
here. I don't know why.
That's awesome, dude.
Why
For
is this
audio
here?
listeners, Jacob's got a avocado that is comically
It's
small.
small.
I've
They're
genuinely
asking
never.
why it's small. Huh? It's a Canadian avocado.
Sounds about right.
It's too cold for them to grow properly. Yeah, they dig them out of the snow.
They fucking nuked the
It-
Canadian
it
economy, and now
snowed.
they've nuked the avocado.
On Saturday.
That's
Insane.
absurd.
Let's get into this Holding Absence
Okay.
song. This
Holding
is their...
Absence have dropped their best song in years.
That's incorrect, but thank you
Ah.
for trying. This
This is better than anything
probably-
off the last album, and it's not
The
close.
wisdom is coming through.
This is better than anything off the
Oh,
last
great
album, and it's
wise
not
Justin.
close.
Jake, you'll
I-
get it. You'll get it when you get to be Justin's age.
I
Okay.
I
really
don't
like.
know. I don't know about that.
I really like how each lead-up single to the last 3 albums, honestly, have just been so fucking incredible. Like, Crooked Melody was the lead single for that album, right?
It
Why are
was.
you
it
shaking
was.
your damn head?
I'm shaking
Why
my
are you
head
shaking
because
your damn
it's
head?
mid. It's mid.
What? Nah, Jake. Usually bad take. Jake doesn't rear his ugly
Need
head
I
for-
remind you? I'm like 90% sure that I said that album was my most disappointing album, and most underwhelming album of whatever year it came out in. It
That
was.
album was a little underwhelming. To
It
be
was.
fair.
It was the most nothing burger emotional
Oh.
album of the
But
like.
Crooked Melody was good.
Crooked Melody was one of the better songs on it, but it has left very little lasting
And he
impact on
just
me.
called it mid. It's over. It's never been more over than it is right now.
Okay, but like they've redeemed themselves with "Whisper of a Dream."
I don't know if it's redemption, but this song fucks. Like
That's
I'm a big
it's
fan
very
of
good.
this.
You know the
I like-
gif that's been running around on Twitter of like the piece of paper and the pen is on fire as they're writing?
Yes.
Have you guys seen
Yeah,
that?
Yeah, I've seen that.
The fucking line of being a human's more of a burden than I was hoping. I just know that when Lucas was writing that lyric, that pen was on fucking fire.
Hell yeah, dude.
What if he was
Just
His keyboard just spontaneously combusts.
typing? What if it's ChatGPT?
Oh hell
no, Lucas Woodward
If only
Lucas
absence
Woodward would
of
not.
ChatGPT to write lyrics, it's over.
Yeah, we're
You're
done.
looking at the
I
lyrics, there's just like
retract my
one M
statement.
dash in the middle.
I think this is my second favorite, just behind No More Roses.
For
Like
all
Song
Holding
of
Absence
Theirs, just in
songs.
general?
Song of theirs,
No.
period.
Dang.
I
I go
You
that
can't do
far.
I
it.
give this
Up
top
there.
3. This is in the same pool as Afterlife, Die Alone in Your Lover's Arms, and now this.
You guys got to get hip to Drugs and Love. Drugs and Love is
Dude,
well,
that album, so good.
fantastic.
I need to go
Man.
back and listen to it.
I will say I feel like this uses more, or I guess incorporates more electronics than any other Holding Absence song off the dome. And I think that they were a band, like if you told me, like, give me like list 5 bands that would be improved by adding electronics to their songs, I feel like Holding Absence is a no-brainer, and they nailed it with this. This is fantastic.
You could have told me they've had that sound for years, and I would have believed you.
Oh yeah, it's flawless.
It's a perfect slot in.
It's like I hear these electronics in Whisper of a Dream, and I don't even question like, oh, that's new for Holding Absence. I'm just like, oh, that's just Holding Absence doing Holding Absence things. It just feels so natural. It feels so normal. The other thing, kind of last thing I want to mention is I feel like Holding Absence are generally at their best when the drumming is a focal point of the song. Think songs like Gravity. Think songs like Now Whisper of a Dream as well. When they let their drummer just do crazy fills in like the bridges between a verse and a chorus, or just like in a build-up, it's peak Holding Absence. There's really no other band in post-hardcore doing that sort of technique with the drumming that I can think of, or at least doing it at the level that Holding Absence are doing it at.
110%.
Up next, we have, as previously mentioned earlier on, the Plot and Yield have dropped brand new single, You Get One. This might be the first time that I've taken a transition from Jacob for this band.
You get one disposed song in the set list.
No, it's we only get one non-single is what it actually is called.
That's true.
Yeah. So I was so conflicted.
Album drops in 66 days, and there's one single that's missing.
It's not an album. It's not an album. They've come out and said it's not an album.
But it's an album on Spotify.
Bro, this is
But it's not
a thing with Fearless Records. Because Starset's had to happen to them where they're pressured into an album. And now, I know you're not calling it an album, but it's an album because there's a freaking vinyl for it.
They're calling it an album because they just wanted to give a way for people to buy all 4 volumes on one vinyl or CD. Basically, was like
it's a Fearless
self-titled too. Garbage.
Probably.
Hate it.
Okay, what isn't garbage though is this song. Dare I say this is the best song on any of the volumes?
Bro, Forgotten is right there.
I know Forgotten is right there.
I spent my life.
One of the greatest breakdowns of the decade, like uncontested. But this song is an earworm and gets better every single time I listen to it. The best and coolest production on any song I've heard all year. The drumming is insane. Landon's vocals are better than ever. This is already, I need to open up Last FM. This might be my most listened to Plot and You song of all time already.
It is
Really?
It might be.
It is fine.
I don't think that was hard.
It's a fine song.
Yeah,
Like-
that's kind of where I'm at too.
The vocal production on the verse where it's like tough love ain't enough when there's no one here to trust, when you get back on your feet it's like the world turned to dust, is so fucking cool. And then in the chorus as well, you get that like distorted one soul. Then
Nice.
this one's
that
like,
shit. What the hell?
it's just no.
I've never seen Jake and Landon Tours in the same room. That's
He's
all
better
I'm
than
saying.
I have.
Better than
I
saw him
have
last week.
Oh yeah, I guess. Yeah.
He looked in a mirror.
Yeah.
And the breakdown in this song is so sick as well. Like
That
everything about the again, another song that has really fast paced, like very high reverb drumming that's just so atmospheric, spacious, and God, everything about this is so cool. Can someone else talk about this song really quick while I look up how much I've listened to this?
I'm like, maybe this might be a bad Derek take, but I think that after Volume 2, the songs have all kind of been like downhill from there. Like they're not bad, but like I hear this and I feel like I should think that it's new, but it doesn't sound new to me. I don't know why.
I liked Silence actually. It's funny because I saw the Plot and You release a song, and I went to look, and I listened to Silence. It was like, oh, this is cool. And then I realized Jake added a different song to the playlist. And I was like, wait a minute. So Silence released in September.
So
And I
I
almost
found
added
the
it to the
data,
playlist.
by the way. I found the data, by the way. My most played song by The Plot and You is Forgotten with 39. You Get One is currently sitting at 38. So
Actually,
by
now
the
I
time
gotta
we're
go
done
find the
recording this, it's probably going to be tied for my most played.
It's fine.
I am
It gets a
absolutely
little
in
repetitive.
love
I
with
think
it.
that's the problem with the song.
Yeah, I can give you that. I just have not been able to get over how fucking cool the production on this is. And I know The Plot and You have always had very cool production on their songs, but to me, this is just like a whole new level of just like musical expression for them. I've not been able to put this down all month. Any other thoughts on this one, or are we moving on?
I think you're good. I'm just realizing I've listened to much less Plot and You than I thought. I'm looking at my numbers. I don't know what's going on with this. This ain't right.
All right, next up in the playlist, we have South Arcade, who have returned after only 5 months since their EP drop last year. Brand new single, Superman. And what else needs to be said about South Arcade that we haven't already said for the past year? They are just like one of the best up-and-coming bands, and I cannot wait to see them live again on the summer school tour this summer. I cannot wait to hear the song live amidst all of their other incredible discography. The way that this song starts out, just the funky delivery on the "It's not your day today, my friend. I'm a candle burning at both ends, but you are not making sense." It's so fun. And then the chorus is also just so fun. Instrumentally, it's bouncy and just so fun.
I feel like fun is a great way to encapsulate like everything this band does at this point. Like I don't know how they can do it so consistently. Like you said, it's only
impressive.
5 months after that EP. It's ridiculous.
Yep. I am hoping that this is debut single for a debut album. I wouldn't be surprised if it's another EP, honestly, but I
it's a
need
deluxe.
this band to drop an album because that shit is
Honestly.
like top 3 of the year free.
We're overdue. I mean, they've proven on those 2
Yeah.
EPs that they, despite being a newer band, like there's not much they can. I'm a little bit. I'm gonna temper my expectations because with the way that things are trending, like we were just talking about with Plot, that like some people want an album, but the trend recently is definitely EPs.
Yeah.
Probably because everybody's attention span is shot. But yeah, I don't know. I'm interested. It's really good either way. I really appreciated how, because I feel like their whole thing, part of their aesthetic is like the fun parts of like the early 2000s, right? Like obviously they had
Definitely.
2005,
Mhm.
but they're definitely a Gen Z band,
Mhm.
and that like kind of Deftonesy guitar tone that was like, you know, mid late 90s, early 2000s. I feel like they translated it well into this, except usually like if I'm listening to Deftones, like I'm angry or sad or, you know, just spacing out. And whereas with this, it's like, oh yeah, we can make it into something fun. Why not? Like, sure. By all means.
South
they make it
Arcade
work
have maybe made like
effortlessly.
2 sad songs ever.
Yeah, right. It's. I also want to shout out the artist. I don't know what their name is because I don't think that information is readily available. But they've been pretty consistently putting out like a very specific. They've curated the vibe of their cover art, and I think it's really well done. I think it's the same artist for all of them.
It looks very similar.
Yeah.
Justin, you're back on deck.
Got another new band, Lost
wise one
Light,
speaks.
have dropped their single Eternal.
They could break your heart like this. Keep your head up, keep on trying so you don't drown.
This is my favorite of the three new bands that you're introducing us to this month.
This is my song of the month.
This is a banger.
Yeah,
So
this reminds me of the new Low. Am I crazy for that one?
Meh.
The dual vocal dynamic.
The dual
kind
vocal
of.
dynamic?
I can see it.
Yeah. What's that? What we talked about? Was it Neverless? Was another band that we talked about recently that has multiple, or the at least had.
Nevertheless, used to. That was
Okay.
Pink Noise's old band.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
But yeah, that was a band that kind of blended them well together pretty well. But this, I think, it just takes it to like a very dynamic level. This is their third single as a band. They started in last year with Wasteland, and they sound like a band with 10 times their monthly listener count.
Get this band on Sharp Tone, brother.
Right?
Get this
Are they
band
Like,
on
signed?
Sharp
Not
No.
fearless. No fearless.
No
They're-
fearless.
No. They sound really good. This is a TikTok suggestion. So
Really?
shout out a rare TikTok W.
Yeah, right. I really like the. All I can talk about is the album art, but I really like the. I just went and looked at the other two singles as well. I like the vibe that they're going for. This is up my alley. I didn't realize that they only had those 3 songs. I'm gonna have to. What I do like, what does give me hope, is that they're all grouped together on Spotify. Big win.
Yes.
Big win for the. Because normally I feel like you get a smaller band that starts out with a couple of songs and then they go into EP territory. The fact that we are starting with an EP or an album, big fan of that. Need more of that. I like this. And I can't believe they sound this good already. Only 3
Yeah.
songs is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's great. I really like the breakdown for this. The lyric "I still see your ghost" just hits so hard. It's very good. I
Yeah,
got
that sounds
another
good.
new one for us. Cold Hearted dropping their single Carousel.
I do have to ask, Justin, where are Lost Light from?
They are Michigan.
Oh, okay. Foreign land.
Or-
What about
Foreign
Cold
land of
Hearted?
Michigan. Cold Hearted is Las Vegas.
Okay. You
Another.
know, I'm- yeah, go for it.
It's so weird that these two are falling back to that because they're very similar bands that started last year with 3 singles.
Huh.
This is also pretty good. I don't think I didn't go back to their other 2 singles, or if I did, I don't remember them. But Carousel sticks out with me, kind of like it's got that like haunting atmosphere that I really like. That a lot of bands did within the last like year or 2. I think what sold me on this song was like the last minute or so when the heavier vocals kind of became more prevalent.
Yeah, I really expected this to just kind of be one of those like post-hardcore kind of sweep talk-esque songs where it's just like clean and simple throughout the entire thing, and then that heavy verse hit at the end. I was like, oh, okay, this band they got some sauce. And I know I was
really
saying
appreciate
with
the falsetto. Yeah.
I know I was saying with Lost Light and Those Without, of the 3 new bands you've introduced, like those were my 1 and 2. This is my third / least favorite of the 3 new bands you're introducing this month. By no means is that me saying this band is bad. It's just that the other 2 songs that you added happen to be really fucking good for being bands that I had never heard of prior to this month. So it's some tough competition for Cold Hearted here.
I'll share that sentiment. I really appreciate the falsetto in or right before the chorus. It really helps add to that kind of, like you were talking about, the haunting atmosphere. It's really well executed. I'll always be a sucker for bands that do that. So I wanted to highlight that part in particular.
No, I definitely agree. I just really liked this because it's like it's borderline something that feels like it was back probably a decade ago, but also modern, in my
Mhm.
opinion. And I think that kind of helps differentiate it between the others for me. But yeah, I really liked this.
All right. Up next, we have Saosin, who have released their first new song in a long ass time, apparently, called Starting Over Again.
Giving anything to start it over again.
I don't have any history with this band. This is the first song of theirs that I've ever heard, but I've been aware of the fact that they have been around for a while. I've just never listened to them. I don't know if you all have any more history with them that can go into it. But
A little bit, but
I mean, this is their first album and first new album in supposedly new album in like 15 years.
they're about was it?
According to Spotify, their last like actual new album was In Search of Solid Gold back in 2009.
well, there's I
Well,
see it
there's Along the Shadow.
Shadow.
Yeah,
Oh,
That
I might have.
Still 10 years.
Yeah,
yeah,
10
still
years.
10 years, and for a
Yeah.
band that's been around for as long as they have. Yeah, their 2006 album is like a scene cornerstone. But other than that, I don't have much experience with Saosin.
I think there was a break or something. I think they stepped away for quite a bit, or
Yeah, 'cause-
like something was
Clearly,
going
'cause
on.
It's been a decade.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
Anthony Green was in the band at some point. He's the lead vocalist for Circus Survive, and then they replaced him with the guy who's singing now, which is crazy because I forgot that Anthony Green left and was listening to this song, and the lead singer sounds like weirdly like him. Like it made me forget that Anthony Green had left the band. It's kind of crazy. You usually don't get vocalists replacing kind of 1-to-1 like that, but he nailed it. He's got all the same inflections. It's crazy. What? So Jake, I wouldn't have pegged you for a Saosin kind of guy. So like, what about this is bringing you in?
It's just some good ass post hardcore. That's kind
Fair
of all there
enough.
is to it. Like good riffs, good vocals. It's just like you've nailed all the basics of a good post hardcore song. Not one of my favorite songs by any means, but when I heard this, I was like, okay, this is pretty good. And then I realized kind of like the history of this band. Like this is their first song in like a decade or something, or close to a decade at least. I was like, we should talk about this. This feels like something we should talk about. Like, if I had more of a history with this band, this probably hits the same way that I felt when Adept came back with Heaven last year.
Yeah, it's about that. I really appreciated the guitar work in this song. I thought it was really well executed. It doesn't really sound like I feel like oftentimes when bands leave, quote unquote, and then come back with new music, they tend to skip a beat. Like, gonna bring up Icy Stars. They left for what, like 6 years, came back, and now they sound like shit from a butt. But these guys sound like they haven't skipped a beat at all. The quality of this is fantastic. I really enjoyed it. It definitely, I think, like, to your point about taking like, or Justin, to your point on Cold Hearted and taking a sound from a decade plus ago and making it modern, I feel like they've kind of done the same thing here, which goes to show just how talented of musicians they are. So, like you said, it's not my favorite song ever, but it's too solid to not enjoy.
Yeah.
They killed it with this one.
All right, up next. It's been a while since we talked about this band. Catch Your Breath have dropped brand new single, Jen Inside, featuring Kehoe. Catch Your Breath have dropped, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. They've dropped 5 singles for what appears to be a new album over the past year or so. And we have not talked about any of them at least to my knowledge. They have not been hitting the same way that the singles were hitting for Shame on Me. Not hitting like Dial Tone, not hitting like 21 Gun Salute, not hitting like Savages. They've been good. They haven't been what I had come to expect from Catch Your Breath. Suddenly, a Wild Kehoe appears as a feature, and it's the best song that they have dropped in a few years. Like,
Yeah, pretty much.
what else is there to say? With that being said, this is probably still their best song in years, even if she's not on this song.
You know what? Yeah, I'll give it to you. Sure. I will say that like most of Shame on Me has kind of fallen off for me as the years have gone by. I think that I was very happy that they found a wider audience, because you know we've been around talking about them for a while, but I feel like they've drifted into a little bit more of a generic direction. And in doing so, some of the music sounds a little bit samey. What I do appreciate about this, to your point about Cammy, you know, if she wasn't on it, it would still be really good. I agree, but I think that she brings an added bit of flavor to a band that is lacking it. Not to say that they're bad. It's just it's all little. It's sounding the same to me. What is it? What is Cammy on? Why is she so good? Like, it's crazy how consistently good
she has been on. Well, I mean, the EP last year was just okay, but like since was it Fade Out late last year, she has been on a tear.
You could say she is a psycho.
Good.
More on that later.
True. Yeah, I absolutely love the way that she trades vocals with Josh of Catch Your Breath. Pretty sure Josh is his name anyway. I just love the way that they trade vocals back and forth. The harmony in the final chorus, where you hear both of them singing that chorus, is fantastic. Just the delivery on everything in this song, and instrumentally as well. Just everything about this it's the most memorable song they've put out in a while, and it feels good to finally be excited about this band again.
Oh, absolutely.
I kind of wish I had more to say, because this is like one of my most played songs of the month, but I kind of don't. It's just like one of those songs that it's just good. Listen to it, you'll get it.
110%.
Is kind of where I'm at with it. Let's keep this train going. We have another song with another feature up next, Justin.
Yeah, we got Nature's Ghost dropping a new single featuring Massive?
Massey.
Messy, that's what I thought.
Massive.
Good Night.
Massive's crazy.
My bad. Their single Good Night and Goodbye off of an upcoming album that's already dropped.
We'll probably be talking about the album in full in next month's recap if you want to hear more thoughts on it. But this is Nature's Ghost's best song since, was it Cry Wolf with Kehoe?
Yeah, I'd agree. And it's not like the other stuff was bad. Like,
no.
Metallic Scorpion, everything
Metallic
off of
Scorpion was
Metallic
good.
Scorpion had, like, it had variance to it, which is why I really liked it when it dropped.
One song on that? Palm Reader.
Hyperpop.
That's the one.
Yeah,
Palm Reader was the
Reader
one.
good.
Palm Reader was the one that I keep going back to from that EP. And I would say that this Goodnight and Goodbye is like as good, and you know, maybe this might even be Nature's Ghost's best song, honestly. The way that you trade vocals back and forth, the electronic implementation, the breakdown, like this is Nature's Ghost doing everything that they have been experimenting with, because they're a very experimental band when it comes to implementing electronics and kind of interesting, unique sounds and structures. And I feel like this is them finding a great balance of being experimental, especially electronically, while also having a fire chorus that's super catchy and memorable. Like, you're not giving up the memorability of the song by being experimental, which I feel like they have sacrificed a little bit of in some of their other songs. This is great. And Massey is a fantastic feature as well. I feel like every time that Massey is featured on something, she's been phenomenal. I want to shout out a song by Nowhere Left, which came out last year called Violet, that also featured Massey and was also fantastic. So yeah, great choice of feature, great use of the feature. Yeah, all around, this is fantastic. Really underrated band. Highly recommend checking this out.
They just have a really good track record with bands or with features.
They
They
do.
had Kaylee, and then they had Bradley Walden of Emarosa on a single a couple years ago. This is the first single to have a feature in a while, and it's really good.
Yep.
Also recommend their album that dropped this past Friday. If you haven't listened to it already. Again, we'll talk about it in the May recap, but it's definitely got quite a bit going for it, so I definitely recommend it.
The last thing I want to mention before we move on is that I haven't really felt this as much with the other singles from this album, but with this single, it really just reminds me that I forget his name off the top of my head right now, and I feel terrible about that because we literally interviewed the guys. But he sounds so much like James DeBerg of 1000 Below. Especially in his harsh vocal tone, like in the breakdown of this song, really reminiscent of 1000 Below to me.
I hear it.
Mm-hmm.
Go listen to the Hivemind After Hours with
Ooh.
Nature's Ghost if you haven't already. Shameless plug.
Agreed. Speaking of friends from the podcast, we got Nevertel dropping their new single, Other Side.
Of holding close and letting go. I keep trying to drown it out, but your voice gets louder. Break me down, but I still won't.
You first, Justin.
The wise one.
I'm
Great
gonna
sage.
probably say something I regret, but I think this is better than 3/4 of their latest album.
No, it's better than Playground. It's better than Playground. I'll give you that.
That is true.
Hear me out. I think this is better for their identity than like most of that last album. Because like when I think Nevertel, I think everything in my mind. That is the album that I picture when I think of this band. And every single one of those songs had something different going for it. When we talked about the album with them, when we had them previously, they mentioned the stylistic choices that they had for it. And I hearken back to that when I listen to this, and it's got elements that bring me back to their debut album. And I think for me, that's why I think I enjoy it more than Start Again.
That's fair.
I'm gonna
I
be
think
honest.
especially. Oh yeah.
Like, this is a good Nevertel song. However, the thing in the guitar, that like weird distorted like hey thing in the background of the main riff, you take that out of the song, and I've probably listened to this significantly more. That one
That one bit
production
is getting
add-on
to you.
has single-handedly made me listen to this song maybe like 3 times. Like I have not
Really?
gone back to this song at all. It has not,
Man,
like, I have not been vibing with this one, unfortunately.
I really enjoyed this. Yeah, better than 3/4 to Start Again. Maybe like 2/3. I think I go with 2/3, not 3/4. I will say I think that to your point about it being more their identity. One of the things that I've associated with Nevertel over the years is more distorted breakdowns, and adding electronics to that. And I think that the inclusion of that here really adds to the song.
It makes it unique.
Absolutely. I do wish that we had a little bit of like a rap verse here or there. I think it would have fit really well in the song, especially as like the second verse. If it had that, I think it would have had everything that makes Nevertel. In my opinion.
Yeah, I think blending some of Raul's singing verse with some rap would have helped it a lot. This song reminds me of Back on Me.
Yes, 110%. I will say, like, to your point about it, their identity, that's one of the things that we mentioned, right? We want Nevertel to lean into what makes them them, and like you said, I think that they did that really well with this. Do we know if this is just like, because I know they love to do, well, they may not love to do it, but they have done it in the past, like standalone singles that don't end up with an album. Like, is this like a deluxe situation? Do we know what the...
I don't think they've been.
I genuinely do not know.
I do know that this
New
coincides
Era
with them.
sounded like for me.
I do know that this coincides with them opening for Wage War on tour. So this could just be, we're dropping a song because we're going on tour, and then they're going to decide if this goes on the next album or not later down the line or something. I don't know.
Wag.
Because like they signed to Epitaph, released Sacrifice, and then released Shut Your Mouth, but then Shut Your Mouth didn't make the album. So like this could be another situation where they just drop the single, and then maybe they finish writing the album and they're like, yeah, Other Side makes sense on the album. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it's a standalone single. Who knows?
Is that show coming to me?
The only thing they've mentioned about it was someone asked about an album announcement already, and Jeremy said way too early for that.
Okay.
So,
well,
not entirely denying it.
But the fact that it's like, if I could say it, I think that their standalone singles that don't end up on an album are some of their best work, generally.
Modified.
So, yup. And then
maybe I'm just a hater of the non-singles, because like I'm not loving this. I didn't love Shut Your Mouth. I thought Modified was just okay. Maybe it's just maybe I'm just not wise enough. Maybe I'm just dumb and stupid.
The only acceptable single that's not on an album that's mediocre is, to say it's mediocre is Far Away, in my opinion.
Really?
Yeah.
No,
that's good. Far Away was good.
Nothing tops Modified.
Jacob. Modified is a banger. I like their standalone singles from like 2018, 2019 as well.
Agreed.
Those were both really good.
All good?
Anyway.
I should still peak.
Yup. What's the other one?
No Reverse?
No Reverse.
Yes.
That was like a setlist staple for them for the longest time. I don't know if it's on the
set
list.
It blew them up, basically.
I hope it's still on the set list all these years later. I'm still hoping that eventually All Good and Know My Loneliness get back on the set list. I'm like really doubtful at this point, but
you have to wait for like the 10-year anniversary tour, buddy.
Yeah.
All right. We got another new single from Glass Waves, dropping their new single Fuck Me Up after signing to Sharp Tone.
Just keep on pretending that you'll never harm me. So fuck me up with your love.
Deserved!
Good
What
signing for Sharp Tone.
Fucking clear.
And it's crazy that they released one of the best EPs of last year, and this is better than most of the songs on that EP.
Incorrect, but thank you for your opinion.
Remember what I said? This is the best month that I've had in like 2 years. I wasn't joking. I'm saying this is like the best song every band has dropped in years with every song that we talk about.
Yeah, Glass Waves are just so fucking consistent. Like I've mentioned their discography when we talk about them. Like everything they have dropped since their debut single with this band, Dead Dreams, has just been fantastic. And I can't praise this band enough. I'm so happy to see them signing. They got very, very good recognition going on Warped Tour after winning a Battle of the Bands, and I think them getting signed after that point was just eminent. It was just who would pick them up, and Sharp Tone already have some fucking amazing bands, and adding Glass Waves to it is just a big W for Glass Waves, and this song's fantastic.
That extended vocal note in the chorus of "I need to feel your heartbeat on my body." I can't do it. Like I nailed the Landon Tours chopped vocal earlier.
Your one allotted one per episode.
Yeah, my allotted. You get one good vocal for the year was used on that. I cannot do it with this one. But that like extended note in the chorus of this song is a fucking earworm, and it just kept me repeatedly this song is why I kept on not going back to Nevertel, because I'd see these two right next to each other in the playlist and I'm like, yeah, I just want to listen to this instead. Sorry, Nevertel.
It's like that meme of like walking, the guy and the girl walking together, and the guy just turns the back on the other girl.
Yeah. Yup. You got me. Awesome. You clocked my ass. The electronics in this song are also fantastic. Kind of similar.
The electronics in every Glasswave song is fucking great.
No, but I feel like in this one in particular, though, like that vocal distortion on the final chorus lead in is so clean. I wish they did more electronics in this one, honestly.
Yeah,
like, the electronics here are good. They could have done more. And I could have been happier, even with this being one of my favorite songs of theirs.
With you saying that, just as a theme for like bands in general, when was the last time we said, "Oh yeah, I wish this had less electronics," or "Oh, like they added this and like the electronics didn't add"?
We haven't had the chance to talk about it in a while, but Electric Callboy. They have,
yeah, okay. Well, besides that,
cooking with their electric.
I feel like we said it a lot when we were on the Solence hate train a couple of years back.
Oh,
because I feel like that was an issue
you mentioned them
with a couple of their songs.
Yeah, it's not often. Bands take notes. It's not often that we say, "Wow, these electronics really detracted from the music." It's always, more electronics, more good.
I forgot to mention it, but the electronics of Silk and Static, when I saw Windwalkers, that shit was crisp live.
Oh,
it's like sometimes the electronics don't come through live. Like I remember when I saw Hanabi at Toad's Place in New Haven, and the electronics, and pardon me, I have to go now, were like really muddy in the mix, and I was like, "Damn it, man. This is like one of my favorite songs of the year, and you fucked up the coolest part of the song live." Man, Windwalkers did not fuck up the electronics live. They knew how to make that shit sound good live. Shout out Windwalkers. Anyway, tangent over.
Hell yeah.
Glasswave's cooked with this. This is my second favorite song of theirs behind Blessed Burden. Just to put it out there.
Yeah. Again, highly recommend their discog, Dead Dreams, Mistakes, and The Hell You Made. All three fucking bangers that lead into their amazing EP that they had last year.
All right, we got a couple more songs. I really hijacked this month's playlist with singles. My bad. Sorry. Not sorry, actually.
How dare you?
Letters Sent Home have released a new single, In the Name of God. Two thoughts that I want to get out the way first. After releasing Forever Undone, an album about religious trauma, and then releasing a deluxe version of Forever Undone with 5 more songs continuing on the experience about religious trauma, Emily is still not done talking about and singing about religious trauma. You know what? Fair enough. B, who let Letters Sent Home gent? Why does this gent?
Yeah, the guitar tone was
why does this
heavy.
gent?
Not even in a bad way. I was surprised. Have you done anything like that?
I don't think so.
Previously?
This is weirdly genty and bouncy for them. It really caught me off guard, but it's cool. And I also lyrically, there's so many potent lyrics in this song that have kept me coming back. You see me as a black sheep when I'm the one who cares. Isn't it exhausting being full of hate and lost in anger about what you don't know and what you don't understand? And the one that I have definitely gone back to the most is like one of the most poignant lyrics of the song is "I will always and forever choose love over hate." And I think that kind of gets at the whole core of the religious trauma in this song of like, I think it's fairly obvious that she grew up in a household that religion was very harmful on her upbringing. And it was like the people in her life were preaching all of these things about religion that were supposed to be uplifting. And then from her perspective, it was all about hatred. And kind of coming out of that and trying to share that perspective, I think is really what the song is about. It's just continuing what Forever Undone already excelled at in the messaging of escaping religious trauma. Lyrically on point and vocally on point, and just a very surprising shift in instrumentation that I did not see coming from them.
What can't they do at this point, though?
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah. Very happy to see them. I mean, it's only been 7-8 months, if even that, since the deluxe album. So to see them releasing music this consistently is one of my favorite bands of the past years as a treat. Sometimes bands, like, you discover them as they're like, when men start off, they release music a lot more frequently, and then they sign onto a label, and then they're in the 2-year album cycle, and sometimes it's been a while. But Letter Sent Home have been on Sharptone for 3+ years at this point, or close to 3 years, and they've been consistently releasing music the entire time, pretty much. So yeah, I'm very happy about that as a big fan of this band. I'm going to move us on to our next song. Wind Waker have released brand new song Click featuring Rin Rin. I'm kind of upset that this song came out now and not when Victory Lap came out late last year. Because, boy, I would have loved to have heard this song live instead of Victory Lap when I saw Wind Waker at the Oakdale last fall. I find this
on right now.
They aren't coming anywhere close to me, unfortunately. Or they're going to be in Massachusetts when I'm in Cape Cod or some shit. I don't know. One or the other. This is so much better than Victory Lap. I thought Victory Lap was just like very okay as a single. And this is just leaning into all the things about Wind Waker that I really enjoy, from the electronics to the huge choruses to the very sparse heavy sections, like in the breakdown and one of the verses, like that part of the verse that's heavier. Rin Rin as a feature, also fantastic. I don't think you guys are very familiar with Rin Rin. I've been familiar with her a little bit because Nightlight were the openers for Rin Rin's Australian tour earlier this year.
Oh, okay.
So when Nightlight, I saw Nightlight supporting Rin Rin, all right, let me check out Rin Rin. I don't love most of Rin Rin's music that I've heard. However, Rin Rin does have a song called Corn Dog, and I don't like corn dogs, but I like Corn Dog the song. Corn Dog is a banger song. Highly recommend. It's basically a song about how, like, men can make me feel sad. No, it's a song about how, like, men can betray me, but my corn dog never will, is basically the essence of the song.
That's awesome.
It's so awesome. I highly recommend checking out Corn Dog. She also has
that quote. Just that quote.
Her debut album came out last year, and it's called The Nut House. It features songs like Corn Dog, Built Diff, Evil Bitch Blood, and Sad Emoji to give you some sort of an idea. And I think based on that, you can kind of get an essence of her feature on this song. It makes sense. It's very 2020s kind of baddie aesthetic, kind of vocal delivery. And this feels like such a perfect feature for Wind Waker to have on. Just with Wind Waker's kind of genre blending that they already do on songs like Tabula Rasa and Venom. and a lot of the electronic stuff that they've done before, to get Rin Rin on this song that's very modern, talking about how like we're living in a really digital world and like quick smile, you're in front of the camera, that sort of thing. I just feel like they nailed the aesthetic, they nailed the sound, they nailed the songwriting of every part of this.
Yeah, the Rin Rin feature is fantastic. I definitely need to check out. I know this isn't Rin Rin's song, but I definitely need to check that out. I feel like I can't stop talking about the album art this episode, but the album art for that album is sick. It reminds me a little bit of a Soul Eater, so I'll have to go check that out. But no, this is great. I think this is Wind Waker's best song, honestly. If I can be so bold as to throw that out there. Don't look at me like that. I'm allowed one.
I could go top 3. I don't think it's better than Sirens.
Okay. You know what? If we both agree it's top 3, fantastic.
Yeah, it's top 3. Yeah.
We don't need to be old and
Dustin, I
decrepit
need
to
your
have
help.
good takes.
Oh, wise one.
Hey.
Talking to him in Great Sage. Great Sage Justin.
You called old.
Oh, wise one.
All right, we have one final single for this month's playlist. Talked about her not too long ago, but Cami Kehoe, after featuring on the Catch Your Breath song, dropped a song of her own called Psycho. And this might be her heaviest song that she has dropped to date. Just no build up. It's just 5 seconds in, guitars are smashing your ears. She's pissed off. She hates her ex and is like, fuck you. And it's
Valid.
Just, yeah, that's the song. Basically.
It's just 2 minutes of like musical enjoyment would be the best way I can put it. Like
this is Cami Kehoe's version of Stan Atlantic's Molotov. Basically, is kind of how I thought about it.
That's a really good comparison. Actually, I hadn't drawn that, but I like that.
Or Warzone, but Molotov's the better song. So,
100%. Jake, you are. I will allow your earlier transgression of bad take Jake to slide. You've got some good takes here.
I've equaled
I'm a
out.
fan of
It's
this.
beautiful. You'll love to see it. Yeah.
Yeah.
The delivery and the chorus of "You want to watch all my mistakes? You were the worst one that I made." That delivery is fantastic. And I don't like the delivery as much because that delivery is just so good. But that "you got worse and I got sane" there is so much vengeance and spite in that one line.
Mm-hmm.
It's not funny. And also just the kind of trap beats in like kind of the pre-chorus. It adds a really cool dynamic to the song as well, to where it's not all just like super heavy and angry. It's like it's like the trap beats, they're a break from the pissed off, yet the trap beats still sound kind of pissed off in the way that she's delivering her lines anyway. It's great. Like at this point, we've got Fade Out, we've got Heartless, and we've got this. And if all 3 of those are on an EP together, we're looking at like one of the best EPs I've heard all year. Or hopefully, I would love to get an album.
An album would be nice, but
I still need to go back and listen to her. I still need to go back and listen to her 2024 album, but I've only heard a couple of songs off of it. But yeah, I've been absolutely loving everything that she's been doing as of late. All right, EPs. Let's talk about them. We've got 2 of them, and they're 2 pretty big names historically for the group of us here. And I guess just in the genre in general. Jacob, get us started.
Well, Jake, you have to call me by name, which is what you just did. It Calls Me By Name by Wag Wage War.
Just to pour salt in the cups, so what's left to love? Into the dark I fall.
And I was pretty impressed, honestly.
Yeah, so here's my hot take Song of the Swamp is the worst song on here.
I think it's the second worst. Purify being the worst.
For the most part, so I didn't add Song of the Swamp back when it came out as a single into my playlist, and then I listened to it in context of the EP, and I was like, yeah, I still don't really care for Song of the Swamp. But then the rest of the EP is so good, and Song of the Swamp fits in sonically so well that I added it to my playlist anyway. And I've listened to it a couple of times, but for the most part, I kind of just, if I'm ever listening to this EP, 4x4 is the opener to this EP for me.
At least it's not about a truck.
That is true. I did.
I kind of wish it was.
Probably would have been.
It would have been very Florida.
Yeah.
It would have been very Florida for it to be about a
thinking.
truck. To be fair, but yeah, no, I've just been running 4x4 Blindfold Karma Purify is just a 4-song stretch on repeat. Run it back, throw it on repeat, and maybe once every few days I'll throw in a Song of the Swamp. But I mean, those other transgressions with Song of the Swamp aside, it is a very unique song and very fitting for the band from Florida. Like, I don't blame them for it. It's just not exactly my thing. But the other 4 songs are everything about wage war that I have come to enjoy. And yeah, I've had it on repeat all month. What else is there to say?
I think the highlight for me, honestly, on this EP is how good Britton sounds throughout it. Like, I'm pretty sure he's the one singing on Blindfold, and he sounds great. I appreciated like the heavier vocals that he did on. Well, obviously the entirety of Song of the Swamp is heavy, but like the vocal technique, he's definitely getting a little bit heavier than I think Wage War have historically been, for the most part, getting into some gutturals and stuff. I kind of want to let you guys go because like I have some core issues with this EP, and I don't want to like sour the.
I really only
core
have
issues,
one more
no pun
take that I
intended.
want to say about this. 4x4 is my favorite song on here.
Mine too.
But
it changed. Mine wasn't 4x4 at first, but now it is.
we need to talk about the scary precedent that Wage War are setting with this EP in just screaming noises into the microphone incoherently.
It's really catchy though.
What the
You gotta
fuck
give it to
is
him.
if that's you and you're listening, go Rada Na-e. What the fuck in a language is that?
I already
Explain
have the lyrics
yourself?
of this pulled up.
Like,
I think this is all Knocked Loose's fault somehow.
yeah, and then
They started the
in
weird
Karma
animal
as well, and that's a place you belong in where you hang your head, you can rot in. And then Brayton just like screams something into the mic. I don't know. It's like a guttural I sort of thing. What the fuck are you saying? And then Purify, you just get the fucking brie of metalcore brie-ness. And it's just like, I'm scared that the precedent this is going to set for metalcore in the next few years.
I don't know, man.
We
I
don't
think
need
that
more
if you-
animal noises in the genre.
I think we do.
Yes, we do.
honestly. I think the
Okay.
verse would have been better if he was just making noises like that the whole time. I think it would have been great.
This EP it takes the best parts of Manic, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Like you get a little bit of like I don't want to call it rap, but it kind of is in 4x4 in verse 2. They call it overcomplicated and undermedicated. I was created to be the one that you fear and hated, etc., etc. And another highlight for me on that song is the pre-chorus, the "Are you sick like me?" and then he screams it, "Are you sick like me?" Yeah.
Yeah, that's so good.
Yeah, I this song wasn't my favorite at first. I think because of the Ronda Na-e.
That's the best part of the song, man. I don't know.
Oh man. But yeah, Blindfold is fantastic as well.
Blindfold is the radio single that Wage War have been trying to write for all of Stigma and couldn't.
Yeah. It's just the chorus is just catchy, and it is Brighton singing the verses. I'm looking at it here. But Cody's singing the chorus.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just so catchy. Karma is like typical Wage War. They shout the name of the song at the beginning just so you know what the song.
They love doing that, bro.
Northwind need to do that more, because if they keep going on
So
tours
you can
opening,
tell what's
so I can tell what song they're playing.
It's kind of like Jason Derulo at the start of the track.
I
Jason
cannot see
Derulo.
them for a third time and not know that it's carbonized until we're a minute into the song.
Oh man, if Veil of Maya-
Okay, it's a
Oh,
skill issue
man.
on my
They
issue
should've
on
done
my
that.
part. I get it, but like, come on, man.
That's hilarious. Which song is it? Karma that has the weird breakdown.
Purify has the
think so.
re-breakdown. So it's probably Karma.
Maybe it is Purify. Or maybe it's 4x4. Now I'm freaking forgetting. I don't remember.
I mean, they're all good breakdowns for what it's worth.
Yeah.
That's true. There's one that I enjoyed more than the others, though. I thought
Justin,
it was
did
Karma,
you
but I
listen
can't
to
find it.
Blindfold by chance? Because I feel like Blindfold might be a song that's up your alley.
No, I haven't.
You definitely should. I think Jake's right on that one. How do I put
Let's
this?
get into your transgressions with this EP. now.
Yeah, my 99 thesis. No, I mean, look, like I said, when this was gonna start, I thought that 4x4 was gonna be about a truck, and Karma was gonna be like the most generic thing ever, and I was wrong on both fronts. So it was better than my initial expectations that had no merit other than speculation. What I think these songs are all way better than their last album too. I think that
Not even comparable.
Yeah.
you said what?
Not even comparable.
Yeah.
Wait,
Stigma
this
was
is
ass.
what I would have expected for them to follow up Manic with.
What I will say is that one of the biggest issues that I had with Stigma was that I think the best way to put it would be corporate core. And it's like they're just putting out an album that they know will hopefully land on Octane, and there's no soul to it. And I think that there's a little bit more of an identity here. Wage War, especially in recent years, I feel like have suffered for. We talked about wanting more albums from bands. But I think that Wage War in particular are a band that, they benefit from an EP because their most recent albums have had a lot of fat that I feel like could have been trimmed off.
Mhm.
And this just takes everything that they wanted to do. And I think that there are a lot of good ideas here. I'm really sick of these like metalcore frontmen talking about how sick and like twisted they are. It was like we got it with I Prevail last year, I think it was, or the year before, and it's like there's no way you're actually
I'm a
like
sick
this.
motherfucker with a violent nature.
Violent nature.
Oh.
Yeah, that shit was, yeah. 4x4 is like the same thing. It's redeemed by the Radana. I like the random noises. I need more random noises. I think it's great. I don't know. I think more than anything with this EP, outside of maybe Song of the Swamp, which I think is very weak instrumentally, because it doesn't feel like they're actually playing their instruments. I really feel like this EP was almost like made in a lab, so to speak. That like obviously there are song structures you can expect with like a verse chorus breakdown, etc. But I feel like every new Wage War song is crafted with the idea of how can we make this get like listens or views, or it's not necessarily shock factor, but it feels like very polished, and that it's made with the intent of being popular, not with the intent of making music for the sake of doing so. And I think that a lot of bands, as they get bigger, fall victim to that. I think, dare I say it, Dayseeker is starting to fall into that category a little bit. But Wage War in particular are suffering from their own success, in my opinion. And granted, they've crafted it for themselves, but I listen to this and I hear a lot of ideas that I think would feel authentic from a different band, but because Wage War have proven themselves to be, I guess we'll get into this a little bit with the title track or the first track on the next EP, but they're a little bit of sellouts, right? Like I feel like they were blazing and like leading metalcore back in like 2015, 2016, 2017, and as time has gone on, they've decided that they like to make music that will land them on Octane, and it's fine, I guess, but I don't know. I think they're trending in the right direction at the very least in terms of creativity here, but it feels so polished and refined. Like I feel like I should hear a song like Song of the Swamp, right? And feel like, oh, it needs to be like gritty and like dirty and messy, and it's just so overproduced that I don't feel like it's authentic. Which sucks, because I feel like if they took off a couple layers of production here and let it be more raw and more gritty, like just across the entire EP, it would feel like a great EP. But instead, in my opinion, it's just too polished.
I don't know, man. Like, there's a reason that Loathe song is not in this playlist. And it's because it is so raw. I don't like it. It's too raw.
Well, there's, yeah. I mean, there's a balance I feel like you have to strike, right? Like, production and mixing exists for a reason. It's just, I feel like with this, I don't know how else to put this other than like every song on this EP is like a freshly polished bald head. Like, it's too shiny. It's like, it's too glossy. I don't know, or maybe like a bubble. Like I blew a bubble. Every song on here is a bubble. And I don't know. It's just, I want to listen to this because I feel like they've got some good ideas on here. It just doesn't feel like real. Like I don't feel the passion in this. I get nothing from him telling us how sick and twisted and dead inside he is. Like what? I know he doesn't mean that shit. Off the leash and I bite back. No, you do not. you do not bite back.
What if he's pretending to be an alligator?
Well, okay, you know what? Maybe, sure. If they probably got some leashed ones down there. Florida's a lawless place. I don't know. That was the other thing too. Is I feel like this is a collection of ideas rather than anything else. Like I don't feel like there's cohesion across this EP. Like Song of the Swamp and 4x4, sure, but then you get into Blindfold and Karma, and it's like, you know.
Yeah, I remember when I was first listening to this, I went Song of the Swamp into 4x4, and I'm like, oh, we might not be getting a single clean vocal this entire EP.
Yeah,
and then
right?
we get Blindfold, and it's like, oh, so we are doing the Octane song on this EP, and we're not doing it on song 4, where I feel like it'd sound the most cohesive if we kind of went from heavy, mix of heavy and clean into soft, and then end, like, I get what you're saying about that cohesion, because I definitely felt it. Counterpoint, it's just all good, and I don't care.
Fair enough. I guess I was hoping that with, like, a name like It Calls Me By Name, that, like, it would be sort of a concept EP, so to speak. Yeah, or at the very least flow a little bit better together. And I really don't think they achieved that. And that, to me, is part of what makes it feel so corporate, is that just like it doesn't feel I don't feel for supposedly an EP that's supposed to be a little bit more personal to like Florida and stuff like that. I don't feel much passion in this at all. It feels like it exists because they had to meet some sort of deadline, or they're like, shit, Stigma flopped, nobody liked it.
It's Fearless.
Are they on Fearless? Honest to God, I would love to see. I need like a before and after of every band after they leave Fearless, because I want to say between, what was it? Was it Between You and Me that was on Fearless, and then they wrote...
Were they Hopeless or Fearless?
Oh, they were Hopeless. Oh, that's another album, or another record label that I haven't heard very many good things about. It's all the ones that have less in the name. Which, there might be something to... there might be something to see there. I'd like to see them leave what a EP or album sounds like off of a label. Because obviously Cody writes the same song 20 times for every artist ever. But, like, I don't know. I feel like Wage War are constantly chasing trends or what's popular. And in turn, it makes a lot of songs feel not very personal. Like some of the best songs off of Manic, well, granted, I guess that's a little bit more subjective, but like something like what was it? I think it's Teeth. Like like even Manic to an extent like wasn't very, that style of music wasn't popular at the time. Like they've shown that they have these glimpses of
Manic
being ahead
was
of the
a top
curve.
10 song of 2021 for me because nothing sounded like that at the time.
Exactly. And I don't even Song of the Swamp, like it's separate because of the sound effects, but by nature of what it is, like instrumentally, it's very simple. Well, I say that like I can play an instrument, but you know what I mean. Like it's not. They've shown themselves to be very talented musicians and good songwriters, and I feel like Cody's probably making a lot of money writing songs for Memphis Mayfire and Falling in Reverse, and
Bilmuri.
I mean,
I think he produced, not wrote. I think he produced.
He knows how to make something sound good, but the problem is I think it sounds too clean, and I want them to be ahead of the curve again. They're just doing whatever will make them money.
They are on the top of the bell curve. They are not trendsetters.
For sure. I don't know. Maybe this is all just a personal thing, and I have no right to feel this way. But I don't know. We feel like we're reaching for these popular bands, the like metalcore singularity, that they found like a formula that works, and they're gonna abuse the hell out of it. And I feel like now, even with something like this, like Stigma, that's the most generic bullshit I've heard in my entire life. They're now trying to like course correct almost, and I feel like there are growing pains. Anyway,
We'll touch on growing
that
pains later.
I think we should touch on growing pains now. Actually,
Yeah,
with this
I
next
agree.
EP.
Okay, Normandie. It's been a minute since we've talked about them. They've released new EP Side Effects Part 1. And I get the feeling that maybe we're not all in love with this.
I think that would be a fair assessment.
I think. What's the guy's name? Who's the vocalist of this band?
Philip.
I think Philip listened to the Dayseeker album.
Yeah.
I think he listened to the last Dayseeker album.
Yeah. Jake, actually, you know what? Jake, I know you loved this. I want to hear what Justin has to say first. I'm going to be selfish and give him the floor. Justin, what do you think?
Oh,
I don't like that.
It's over. It's over.
The wise one speaks yet again.
That's true. You got to listen to the great sage.
so Cyanide is good.
Yep.
That
What do you
sounds
think
really
about
weird
Mayday?
out of context.
Halo, one of the best songs of the year, yeah?
Cyanide is good.
I will counter
Yes.
Jake. Halo is, well, no, actually, I lied. Sellout is my song. It's the TikTok name drop. I can't get over it. It's also, well, Jake, sorry, I was selfish. I wanted to hear from our wise
No,
elder.
I'm going to be selfish
If
now.
you
Justin,
want to-
I need to hear more from you.
So this is the first time I'm actually like disappointed in one of my favorite bands. There is nothing from their albums that I enjoyed on here minus Cyanide. When I think Normandie, I think White Flag. I think Dark and Beautiful Secrets. And like a few songs off Dopamine.
Oh,
This
what's the
has-
debut album is good too.
This has a terrible identity crisis.
Yep. I would agree. I think Normandie are, for me, peak Normandie is when they're really leaning into not just a post-hardcore sound, but one that and I don't know how else to put this, but it's lighter. Like if we've got like pop versus dark pop or something like that, like this, if they've got that lighter style of post-hardcore, they're gonna nail it. And...
like fucking Star Wars.
Yeah, right.
Happy Star Wars Day, everybody.
Yeah, Star Wars.
Today is
Day.
also
That
my
is
birthday.
true. Oh shit, really?
No.
Oh.
Have you seen
How
that
the fuck did we
meme?
miss that? Oh no. Oh bro, yeah, me feeling stupid as hell. I thought I missed
send
your
it to you.
birthday.
I'll send it to you after. No, we talked about my birthday being in November at the beginning of this episode.
Oh man, it's been a long week. It's Tuesday.
Let me find that video though.
No, it's Monday.
Oh my god, bro, help me, help me. No, so like Mayday, right? For me, it's a lighter post-hardcore song. Good, sound good, great, awesome. Cyanide, it's got elements of, in my opinion, when Normandie are in their bag, good. I feel like the rest of the EP is a very, how do I put this? It's darker. And I think when I was saying, speaking of growing pains, is I think that there are aspects here that they could develop and land on something that works. For me, Salad especially, I think is a, dare I say, horrible song. And then Halo and Guilt by Association are, I mean, they're fine, but in my opinion, they don't lean into the strengths of what makes Normandie. And I'm sure you might disagree, Jake, because Streets have been talking, and they've been saying that Halo might be your most played song of the year.
Before
I've got the
Jake
data.
gets on his soapbox and tries to defend this EP, I will say that they did come out and say that they are experimenting, which is okay. I'm curious. The problem is that they didn't call this a part 1, so obviously there's going to be a part 2. Otherwise, what are we doing?
Yeah. That'd be funny as hell.
I'm curious to see what the part 2 sounds like, because like, if they're trying to figure out their sound, I don't think a collection of something like this is the right way to do it.
I guess I remember seeing that. And I remember thinking at the time that I don't understand why they find the need or feel the need to quote unquote find, and maybe this is just personal preference, but I thought when they released, oh, Jake, don't shoot me. I think it was one of your favorite albums that year. Dark and Beautiful Secrets.
Yeah.
Yes,
it was my album of the year, yes.
Okay. I couldn't remember if
and it is still like one of my favorite albums of all time.
I think that, well, I didn't think they needed to be any different from White Flag personally, but the improvement from Dark and Beautiful Secrets felt like a natural continuation of that. And in my opinion, like, they found their sound 5 years ago. Maybe they've just grown as musicians, but if they were doing that sound so well, why do they feel the need to switch it up? Like, is it just like a popularity thing? Like, because to me, if they're trying to find their sound, to me that sounds like as artists, they weren't satisfied with what they were creating previously. Which I would find hard to believe, because I feel like Dopamine was a step in the wrong direction after a largely successful 3-album run. And now this, it feels like they've got aspects. But the problem is, if they're trying to find their sound, in my opinion, the 2 best songs on here are the ones that sound like what they were previously doing anyway, right?
Yeah,
so like,
100%.
why? I don't know.
I will agree with
Finding
that.
your sound does not mean copying Dayseeker's shitty last album, okay?
That is true. Yo, but poor Jake, he liked that album too. I feel like we find every opportunity to say that album was shit, but it was.
I just saw Dayseeker 2 days ago, and they played a majority of that album, and it was phenomenal.
I'd have walked out.
Dude, let me tell you, Pale Moonlight is the opener to the set list. Maybe not the best song on studio, but in a sold-out show, that shit goes hard.
I can imagine.
You know what, going
The
back
breakdown
there
of
is an opener.
Creature and the Black Knight, that shit goes hard in a crowd full of sweaty people.
You know what would
Just
go
reminded me
even
of that
better
song.
than that? Vultures.
I
That
wish
is
Vultures
true.
was still on the set list. I wish Vultures was still on the set list.
Uh,
Oh
I
well.
meant to ask. I forgot earlier. How much backing tracks? How much could you tell?
For a Dayseeker?
Were there a lot of backing tracks? Yeah.
I heard more backing tracks on Sachi 6 and Windwalkers than I heard with Dayseeker.
Okay, interesting. Maybe the streets are lying. They're usually pretty kind to me. I could be wrong. Anyway, Jake, you have the data.
Yeah, so I really wanted to throw this in here to talk about Cyanide. It came out as a single back in January, and I was really fucking restraining myself on not adding it to that playlist because it was one of the best songs of the month. But I knew that this EP was coming out, and I was like, let's wait and see how the full EP shakes out. And then it was followed up by Guilt by Association and Mayday, and neither of those two really stuck with me as singles. So coming into the full EP release with 4 out of 5 singles and only one song left, I already know Sellout and Mayday as the opener and closer, and there's just this mysterious track 3 Halo in the middle. And my expectations are not that high, in all honesty. And then I get to Halo, and it's just holy shit, one of my favorite songs of the month. That pre-chorus line of Stockholm Syndrome, it must be lonely up in your plastic kingdom, I'll pull the plug on your Halo, was stuck in my head within half an hour before I even got to bed that night. I was in bed trying to fall asleep singing Stockholm Syndrome, it must be lonely up in your plastic kingdom to fall asleep. Like, within an hour of the song being out. And it has not gotten out of my head in the couple of weeks since it's been out. Not to mention the electronics in that song. One of the best electronic riffs I have heard all year. And one of the best electronic riffs that Normandie has ever done, as far as I'm concerned.
For sure.
It's a huge chorus as well. And then you get a sick breakdown as well. Inhale. God, why am I struggling to speak right now? And it's just like, the singles may have left me a little disappointed, but you save what I would consider the best for last, and I can forgive the sins, so to say. I'm not trying to defend Sellout. I'm not trying to defend Guilt by Association or Mayday even that hard. They're all, like, Normandie is one of my favorite bands of all time, and even I'll admit that, like, they're not some of Normandie's best work. But with that being said, like, sometimes, like, to me, this just comes down to sometimes a band is just one of your favorite bands. And it might not be the best thing they've ever put out, but one of your favorite bands is just one of your favorite bands. And I'm just gonna... It's Normandie for me,
I mean, I could have said that too. Like, I would have said that back in 2021 when all their good shit had dropped.
Mm-hmm.
But with Dopamine and this, they've fallen off for me.
And that's fair enough. I can say the same thing about Amaranth. Amaranth, one of my favorite bands of all time, and I was willing to give them the benefit of the doubt for the longest time. And that album came out in 2024, and it just faltered. It fell flat. So, like, it's not like I'm immune to the idea of a favorite band of mine being untouchable, but Normandie haven't fallen so far off for me to completely disregard them and fall out of love with what made me love them in the first place. There are still elements on every song here, yes, even Sellout, that are like, this is why I like Normandie. And yeah, I mean, Cyanide is just a phenomenal song. It is no surprise to me that it is by far doing the best. Like, you look at the numbers that all these songs are pulling, and Cyanide is, like, just skyrocketing ahead of everything else.
That's 3 times the next
yeah.
Why does Sellout have 500,000 plays?
Because it was the lead single.
Yeah.
I want to know how many of those are repeat plays.
I'm, like, probably, like, 10 to 20 on Sellout.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, the TikTok lyric did not fully ruin it for me. It's I do also want to say that I think Mayday is a phenomenal closer to this EP. I didn't love it as much as a standalone single, but it is fucking huge. It is, as you said, like, very airy and just big, and I think it works great as a way to close this EP. Hits way harder following the other 4 songs in front of it, as it did as a single. Yeah, I fucking love Philip's vocals. I love the instrumentation across the majority of this EP. Cyanide and Halo are some of my favorite songs of the year. Is this going to make my top 10 EPs of the year? Probably. But it's not flawless. It just has really high peaks. I will say, Halo is not my song of the month.
Really?
It is not my song of the month. No.
Oh, we haven't talked about your song.
We haven't talked about it yet. Halo is my 5th most played song of the year. We have not talked about my song of the month yet.
Is it on this next album?
It sure
It's
is.
Starfish better. It's Starfish better.
It sure is on this next album. I think we said enough about Normandie. Let's get into our albums for this episode. As Everything Unfolds have dropped their 3rd album, Did You Ask to Be Set Free? Quick little tangent before I get into my thoughts on this album, but this album came out when I was on my trip in Spain. So I was in the European time zone when the European band released their album.
That's a first, right?
Yeah, that's a first.
Hell yeah.
If only Spotify knew that I was in Europe. It still thought I was in America. It wouldn't let me listen to it at midnight.
No, that's fucked
I
up,
was
because
ripped off.
I remember in high school, they blocked Spotify on my school's Wi-Fi, so you had to use a VPN to listen to it. And so I was over in Germany, and Spotify would give me ads in German. I didn't get any of them in English. It was weird. But my point being, if it can see your location to give you localized ads, if I gotta have some German guy,
I was getting Spanish ads on YouTube the entire week, but Spotify thought I was still in America.
Spotify.
I wanted to listen to my As Everything Unfolds album.
Yup.
It did kind of work out because that Friday everyone else was going out to eat breakfast and I was sleeping in, so I got to listen to the album when I woke up before I met them after they went out to eat breakfast. Because I'm a picky eater and don't really like eating breakfast out, so it worked out. I got to listen to my album in Spain. It was still very cool and awesome. I listened to all the other albums from that
for
day.
breakfast usually.
Bagels.
What's your go-to breakfast?
Bagels or cereal. There's a couple different cereals that I'll eat, but
are we talking like just a plain bagel or what kind of
just a plain bagel. Plain bagel.
Bagels.
Do you do like an everything bagel or just like a plain
nope,
bagel?
Just a plain bagel. Just a plain, no butter. Nope.
You should. Well, I say this lightly. You should try butter sometime. Very good.
Yeah, no, because I'll put butter in the pan when I make hot dogs, so there's a connection. So I probably should try that at some point. But
man, I'm thinking about a bagel in hot dog butter. Things much to consider. Do you have your hot dogs on a bun? Do you do buns for them?
What is happening right
now? We're talking about my food anxiety trauma is what's going on. I've been talking to my
I have no idea what's going on.
I've been talking to my therapist about my food anxiety, and we've determined that the baby step I need to take to work on it is to eat the hot dog with the bun. Because I'll eat the hot dog. Hell, I've even eaten the bread of a bun by itself, but I have never eaten the hot dog in a bun together. And it's if I can get past that mental barrier, that's a crack in the armor to start combining other things and expanding my options.
It's really good, I will say. I do the reason why I say with bagels to fry them in the pan is if you're making hot dogs in a pan, if you then toast the hot dog bun in the because you get kind of the fat and oil from the hot dog combined with the butter. Oh, that shit is good, bro. If you get to the bun step, I would say take it one step further. Do that. I promise you.
The good news is that I'm going to Iceland in August, and Iceland is world famous for their hot dogs. And if I'm going to Iceland,
that's so weird.
No, genuinely,
do you know why?
I don't know why, but genuinely, there are photos of U.S. presidents going to this small hot dog stand in Reykjavik, and there's photo ops of it.
All right, hold on. Now I got to Google Iceland.
But be aware, Jake, of Iceland. They have to import everything. They can't grow shit there.
Yeah, I know.
So everything is super expensive.
And I'm going during the eclipse, so everything is already super inflated in pricing. So My bank account is hurting.
I see.
Anyway,
So
food tangent
cool.
aside, as everything unfolds, new album, Did You Ask to Be Set Free? I had a quote from this album that I wanted to bring up because the day before this album came out, or the week that this album came out, I was reading a Rock Sound article that Charlie, the vocalist, did to kind of explain some of the behind-the-scenes story of this album. And one of the things that she wrote, or that Rock Sound wrote in relation to the interview, was halfway through the process of piecing together what would become this album, drummer Jamie Gower's partner to vocalist Charlie Rolfe passed away in August of 2024.
Oh,
For many, such a sudden event would bring a halt to almost everything, but for Charlie, it felt like all they could really do was keep going, no matter how much it hurt.
wow.
And one of the first lyrics on this album, in Denial, is "The universe has its plan, and who are we to ignore these desired feelings and grand understandings of this world I implore." So I think with that context of knowing what the band has gone through really impacted my experience of listening to this album for the first time. You can feel the emotion and how they're trying to process this devastating grief and turn it into something throughout this entire album. And I think it is incredibly impressive what they were able to create out of such a dark moment in such a relatively quick turnaround at that as well. So yeah, I just think that throughout this entire album, you get kind of lyrical hints to that idea. I'm just going to list off a couple of them. In Gasoline, saying goodbye is the hardest thing I've ever had to do. Find Another Way, the chorus of that song is faceless in an empty room. You want me to move on too, but I'll find another way. So I'm assuming that's in reference to, like, I'll find another way into the afterlife sort of thing to, like, be back with you. And then in Set in Flow, which was originally supposed to be the opener to this album, now it's track 6 or 7, somewhere in the middle. I don't know exactly. I could figure that out, but I'm lazy. As I ask to be set free, I feel the questions consume me. Ghosts only answer me, and it's all about to come undone. As time passes through me, do I have the right to know? And I think that's just kind of a very existential question of just, like, the what if of everything. And then you get to the very end of the album, of the 1-2 punch of Edge of Forever into Setting Sun. It's really emotional gut punch to end the album on some of the lyrics. Cycle through the feelings, know that it won't help the healing. Take myself through the motions, this endless conflict of emotion, leading me to know that this won't solve a thing. And then the chorus of Setting Sun, the closer, always waiting for the end to come, always waiting for the warmth of the setting sun. Pull ourselves together, in this hell we'll live forever. We'll be the ones to see it undone. I run, I run, I run. And then you get into, like, a beautiful guitar solo to kind of outro the album. So yeah, I haven't fully pieced together every exact lyrical meaning, but I was able to piece together kind of elements of questioning your path in life and the certainty and the uncertainty of anything that can happen in life. And I found that to be a connecting thread throughout the majority of this album that was fairly evident to me, not just on reading through this interview that impacted my experience of this album, but just even listening to it hours after. Like, it wasn't like I read the article and then immediately went into listening to the album. It's like I read the article, did a whole bunch of touristy shit in Spain and completely put it out of my mind, and then I listened to the album the next morning, and I was still recalling back some of the things that I had read in the article, and I'm like, okay, I see. Like, okay, like, I don't know, I feel like I got a deeper understanding, and I feel like that's something that I have lacked in a lot of albums so far this year, is that kind of more personal, deeper connection to an album, even if I haven't experienced any deaths in the family recently. I haven't experienced any major grief or trauma recently, but I can feel the emotion and the way that it's told throughout this album. It's powerful, it's resonant. So with all those kind of tangential, overarching thoughts about the album, let's talk about what my actual song of the month is. Track 5, Cut the Lies. It is, like, unironically, you add one more electronic breakdown at the end of this song, and this is Song of the Year, like, without a shadow of a doubt. The way that this song builds in the opening 20 seconds of, like, slowly the drums, like, tapping more, you get this really long, drawn-out guitar pull, and then just the repetitive of sever the ties, cut the lies, sever the ties, cut the lies, what do you take me for, into the main riff. And that main riff is it's so fucking good, dude. And then you get into the verse, you get into the chorus, you get into the second build-up, and the second riff, the second drop of this song is one of the coolest things I've heard all year. This Cut the Lies is the most experimental song, well, maybe second most to Set and Flow. But structurally, it is such a unique song on this album. And it is executed in such a way that I wish more songs were executed in this structure. And listening to it for the first time, it's like one of those moments where you're listening to a song and it's like, I hope this song does this next, and then the song does that next.
I love when that happens.
And it just continued to do that for the entire stretch of the song until the final 20 seconds when it just like slow faded out. And I was like, okay. But the opening was so good that I kind of just didn't care. And at this point, it's been a few weeks and I'm more than content with it, how it is. Just an unbelievable song. One of my favorite songs of the year, alongside Gasoline, which we talked about as a single earlier this year. Which I think really just highlights how much of a vocalist that Charlie has become. She has improved so much from the EP that came out before the debut album, from the last album even. Her versatility, her range, and the way that she can kind of convey all these emotions. I am struggling to think of another jump from one album to a next from a band that I have already enjoyed this much, where I can tell, like, wow, you have really improved as a vocalist from one album to the next. Especially when it's a band that I already like this much. Usually if it's a band that I already like this much, like, you're already at the top of your game, and like you just keep releasing albums and you're at the top of your game, like you've already figured it out. As everything unfolds, are still innovating and getting better in spite of all the trauma and grief that they have gone through. And yeah, I've been in love with this album. Not to mention some of the other songs. I briefly touched on Find Another Way. Was very surprised that it was track 4 with the slow emotional build that song has. I really expected that. That was like a track 8, 9 sort of vibe that I was getting, but I think it works really well where it is. Idols is super catchy and just punches you in the face immediately. And then the Edge of Forever is track 10, is this really slow, not acoustic, but slow kind of ballad song that sometimes ruins the pacing of an album for me, but it was done so tastefully. To kind of call back to last month, Edge of Forever is kind of what I wish Bed Sheets by Tapestry sounded like, in that very somber, sort of earthy kind of tone. And then Setting Sun is a great closer. It is All I've Ever Known. It is not one of the greatest closers of all time that I have ever heard, but it is a great note to end this album on. I'm very, very pleased with it. It's crazy to say that this is not my favorite album of theirs for how much they have improved. And I think that's really just a testament to how good not just Ultraviolet was, but within each Wise the Other as their debut album. Like, they have continued to improve as a band over all these years, and I am still completely undecided on which of these 3 albums is my favorite. I haven't gone back to Welto in a while, but I think back the tracks like Hiding from Myself, Stay, Stranger in the Mirror, and it's like, wow, that's an incredible album. I think back to last album with songs like Ultraviolet, All I've Ever Known, Flipside, Felt Like Home, and it's like, wow, that's an incredible album. And then I look at this album and I'm like, Gasoline and Cut the Lies are 2 of my 3 most played songs of the year. And I'm like, they've done it again. They've done it again. That's my spiel.
Well, It's interesting because I only had so much time to listen to new music this month, and I had to pick and choose. And this is one of 2 albums that I did not get the chance to listen to, at least in this month. But I'm almost glad that I didn't listen to it, because now I have additional context to inform my first listen, which I love. I'm really excited to get to this. I
hope you enjoy it. I hope you enjoy it.
Were really good.
On that
Me
note,
too.
actually, I should mention, because we didn't talk about point of view, Denial, or What You Wanted as singles, because I thought they were all just like kind of okay. This was the least excited I was going into an As Everything Unfolds album. Like Set and Flow and Gasoline were phenomenal as singles, and the 2 that we talked about. We didn't talk about the other 3 singles because I just didn't think they were that good as singles. In context of the album, I was like, okay, Point of View is a lot better than I remember. Okay, What You Wanted is actually really fucking good. Why did I not think this was good? And Denial is a great opener as well. So, yeah. As Everything Unfolds, they've got like 200,000 monthly listeners right now. And
really?
Yeah, I feel like they should be
I thought they were way bigger.
I feel like
What
they
the
should be
hell?
way bigger.
Oh, that's diabolical. They've been way too good for too long to
I
not
know.
like have more monthly listeners. That's ridiculous.
All right, I've been on my soapbox for a while, and this episode is getting pretty long, so I want to get moving to some of the other albums that we got going on here. Let's move on. Album number 2 for our playlist here. Broadside have released their brand new album, Nowhere at Last.
No one else to blame. I should dose some of my medicine, pull myself out of my head again. I've been dreaming too long.
And now, I know that I was the one that was like the big advocate for this album, but I've just been on my spiel about As Everything Unfolds. So I'm going to open the floor to the rest of y'all to share any thoughts you might have on this album real quick. To give myself a
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Justin, Jacob, do you guys mind if I start us off?
Go for it.
So, I've been listening to this band for a long time now, coming up on 10 years almost. And I think that if a band is going to progress, especially from pop punk, which Broadside very much started out as a pop punk band, I think that this sort of heavy pop direction is a natural next step. You mentioned earlier Growing Pains, Jake. I think that Broadside on this album do have a couple of growing pains in terms of making that transition. I don't think it comes as naturally to them as it has to the home team, for instance. But the home team are like a 1 in a million band, in my opinion, in that respect. Like they just, everything they touch turns to gold with the transition in their sound. But overall, I think that of the bands that we've heard kind of going in that direction or being influenced by the home team, I think that Broadside are up there as one of the better ones. They're very nostalgic for me, especially the album, the 2017 album Paradise. So I think I've got my own growing pains to get used to hearing this sound from Broadside, because I didn't really hear any of the singles leading into it. I remember not being super into their last 2 albums before this either. I didn't think that they were as good as the original material. Again, maybe nostalgia, who knows. But what I will say is I think that there are a couple songs on here like Warning Signs, Dead Roses, I think is also executed fantastically. I also enjoyed Mushroom Cloud, and I think the lead single for this, I Think They Know, in my opinion, is one of the both the better songs on here and one of the better examples I've heard of that a band trying to pull off that sort of heavy pop sound. I also really enjoyed Cherry Red Ego Death as an opener.
The crazy thing, you've mentioned more than half of the album yet, and you have yet to touch on my 3 favorite songs on this album.
Really?
Yep.
Oh, well, now I'm interested. I think that, and it's not as big of an offender of this as another album we'll be talking about later. But I do think some of the songs on here kind of blend into one another. I think that something that the home team does really well is giving each song an identity. What I think, for me, I wish that maybe there were a couple less songs on here, such that I could spend more time with each song as a whole. I'm how do I put this? I think that something else that I keep bringing up the home team, and I feel not bad, but weird doing it, but they really are the gold standard for this sort of thing.
Yeah.
Their songs are crisp, but they're not overproduced, in my opinion. Like, you can still very much clearly hear each element of what's going on in the song. And I think there are some fantastic inclusions of electronics, production notes across this entire album. But sometimes it does, it's not as bad as Wage War, but sometimes it does feel a little bit too polished, in my opinion, that the songs aren't given room to be themselves and shine individually. Again, I don't think that's across the board, but I notice it, for me, enough across the album that, like, how do I put this? One of the things that I enjoy the most about the home team is how punchy and upbeat a lot of their songs are. And I think that this tries to replicate that, but without giving the songs enough room to breathe. Like, it's almost like they're trying a little bit too hard to lean into the pop side of things, in terms of the production being a little bit too tight. But having said that, I think that they executed the album as a whole really well. And I went in with no expectations, and I shouldn't say pleasantly surprised, because I know Broadside are talented, but they're really pulling off this genre adjustment really well.
I'm glad you enjoy this, because I know I was very much like kind of pushing for it and hoping that you especially would finally click with that. Because I was with you. I didn't love their last album. I don't think we even talked about it. And I remember we talked about The Raging Sea. And I remember that as like the opening track was very memorable, and The Setting Sun as the closer was very memorable, but everything in between was just like there. Yeah. This album was not on my radar at all. Up until very recently. There were a lot of singles for this album. I think They Know was the lead single, and then you had Warning Signs, Someone You Need, Blissed Out. All last year, 4 singles, and I thought Broadside were on the same kind of trajectory as their last album, of just another band with potential that's not fully meeting the expectations that I was hoping they would hit. And then 2026 comes around, and you get the 1-2 punch of the final 2 singles in Dark Passenger and Control Freak. And suddenly I am all on board with what Broadside are doing again. And I was looking forward to this album more than the Bilmuri album, just off of those 2 singles alone. And then the album comes out. Cherry Red Ego Death is a phenomenal opener. Nowhere at Last, the title track, rounds out my top 3 as one of my favorite songs on here. That electronic outro at the end of that song is so goddamn cool and fun and everything. And even the singles that I thought I wasn't a big fan of, like Warning Signs, like I Think They Know, like Blissed Out, were way better in context of the album, because like I was multiple songs deep into listening to Broadside, and it wasn't one Broadside song in a mix of 10 other singles that also came out on the same day. That like they just fell through the cracks. But when I'm listening to everything in context of the album, everything's cohesive, everything feels like it makes sense. And when I'm enjoying one Broadside song, going to another one that maybe I didn't enjoy as much as a single, comparing it to another Broadside song is like, damn, this is just a good Broadside song. So I just found myself really enjoying everything about this. And then you get to the end of the album with What Are You Leaving Behind and Is This It? What Are You Leaving Behind probably being one of my least played songs on this album, but every time I listen to it, I'm like, I don't know why this is one of my least played songs on the album. This is good. And then Is This It? As the closer, it's just a very somber note to kind of end the album on, where you kind of have this running the idea of being nowhere at last, of kind of just being wandering aimlessly and all that, and then just ending the album on the note of, is this it? Is there more to this? I feel like it's a very poignant way to end the album after everything that they were already discussing lyrically and even sonically. It's a very somber song after a mostly very fun album with depressing lyrics, yeah. But I feel like you finally kind of, it's a bit of a reality check on, they're singing all these songs that sound very fun and lyrically they're very depressing and
Mhm.
self-deprecating, and then you finally get to the end of the album and you kind of feel it all sink in.
They're to their credit, Broadside are really good at doing this. There's a on their debut album, it's the title track actually, it's the closer, but it tackles with the idea of, you know, being remembered and finding purpose in life, and, you know, to his point, is this all it is? You know, am I these feelings of loneliness, like, will they stay here forever? That type of deal.
Mhm.
And I think that they've very much, for as much as I didn't enjoy some of the sonic themes of the previous albums, I think that lyrically, Broadside are very consistent and have been writing about a lot of the same themes for so long that they succeed. Because that's, how do I put this? Transitioning your sound from one genre to an adjacent genre is difficult enough, but I think that Broadside's identity exists surrounding their lyrical content rather than anything sonically. And if they are able to maintain the consistency on that lyrical content, then it makes everything that much easier. And I think that they really did succeed with that on this album. To your point, Jake, about it all culminating with "Is This It?" They've been tackling a lot of the same themes across every album, and they're consistent enough to do that here. So I appreciated that, if nothing else. It makes some of the songs, especially as I'm not as old as Justin, but as
I'm
I
not as wise.
enter my as I enter my mid-20s and like my frontal lobe I saw a TikTok. Sorry, this is a total tangent. But it said being 25 is great because your frontal lobe develops, but then you're forced to deal with the reckoning. And I've had to consider a lot of things recently that I didn't think I'd ever have to because it felt so foreign to me.
I think I might be experiencing the reckoning as well.
Yeah, it's rough, man. We can complete full critical thinking now, and it's like, oh fuck my life. Fuck my life and fuck my life.
Yes. Yes.
But yeah, I found myself resonating with this album lyrically at times in a way that I don't think I fully appreciate. I could have fully appreciated until recently. And I've noticed that with some of their older material that I used to listen to, because it was upbeat. They do a great job of taking sad topics and making them upbeat, and it's always been a thing for them. But in revisiting, I've noticed in some of the older songs that I had in my playlist from like 2018, because like they're fun and like I enjoy listening to them, and it's like, wow, I don't think I really appreciated the lyrics. Fuck, I'm getting old. Like, why can I relate to this now? Shit. Anyway, so I think that they executed that aspect of this album well.
Yeah, I think the last thing I want to mention before we move on, I was surprised at the very slight introduction of uncleans on a couple of songs on this album. You get it very briefly, and I think they know, right before the final chorus. And then you get it on, I forget which song. It's one of Dark Passenger or Control Freak in the breakdown of those songs, where you get a little bit of backing harsh vocals on those. And I really appreciated those little touches. Felt like a bit of an evolution.
I might be forgetting because I haven't listened to the albums a lot. But they used to, I don't think they did that very much on the last two albums, but that was something that they made a point to include on Paradise, specifically as an album. There's a song on there.
I haven't heard anything prior to the Raging Sea, so I wouldn't.
Oh man, it's Paradise's peak. There's some bangers on there. I'll send you a couple, but there were a few uncleans on that album as like backing vocals and stuff like that. Okay. So I'm glad they're bringing it back. They used to be their first two albums were much grittier, I guess would be a good way to put it. Like the guitar tones were grittier, it was a lot less polished. Yeah. But anyway, I think I just too in love with those first two. Banger.
I was very impressed with this album. I think this is a kind of hard transition to make from that album to this next one.
Bilmuri has released new album, Kinda Hard.
I wanted you back then.
Kinda Hard goes kinda hard, I'm not gonna lie.
That's true. It's the Bilmuri version of Vampire.
Yeah.
It is. Dude, I was not. It's the most Bill Murray thing ever, dude. Just the amount of like distortion on the audio with the like intermittent bald eagles. It's so awesome. I wasn't expecting it at all.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like I'm gonna make a lot of comparisons to the last album in this.
I think it's
review.
deserved, honestly.
That would be
'cause
fair.
It's
Yeah.
very fair.
Because it's very similar sounding in my opinion, but it's also, I don't know, I'm kind of torn. Like, I like this album. I don't know if I like it more than American Motorsports, but at the same time, I appreciate that it's more dynamic than American Motorsports, where American Motorsports kind of sounded a lot very the same. This has like some heavy moments, like Kinda Hard or Starfish Spreader.
I would say even like the breakdown on More Than Hate is like pretty heavy and heavier than most of anything we got on American Motorsports. And the Jeremy McKinnon feature on Always Let You Down. Like, I don't think we really get something like that.
I think it's really interesting that you say that, because for me, I genuinely could not tell you the difference between most of the songs on this album. It all sounded the same to me. It's not that any of it was like bad. It was just like, I feel like we've got the same sound and lyrical like theming for the entire album. And I mean, it's well written. Like, each of the songs are well written, I think. It's just, it's all talking about the same thing. There's like, I feel like there was more sonic disparity on American Motorsports. And I don't know if it's just like an effect where I need to listen to the album more, because I remember I listened to Always Let You Down for the first time, and I was like, oh, they let me down, and now it's one of my favorite songs that I've heard all year. But I don't know. I ended this album listen thinking, okay, that was good. I couldn't tell you I could tell you what one song sounds like on here for sure, but then in my opinion, yeah, exactly. Well, to your point, Jake, about the heavier moments, like, it's great that they were on interludes, and I know we had that breakdown in More Than Hate, but like, in my opinion, Bill Murray's greatest strength was before American Motorsports, when it really seemed like he didn't give a fuck and he would just do whatever. And I feel like we got a glimpse of that with like Kinda Hard, right? But because he would just do whatever, it gave each song a specific identity. And like, I could very much tell you what, like, I don't know, Post Almond Clarity sounds like, right? But if we get into this album, it kind of just feels like, with a few exceptions, it feels like the same song like 12 or 13 times, in my opinion.
And the funny thing is, I could say the exact same thing, but in the other direction.
Oh, yeah? Really?
Yep. I could not tell you what a single song on any... I could not tell you what a single song on Eggy Pocket or whatever 200-pound back sounds like. But like,
that album was kind of a miss,
other than a couple of songs on here that kind of blend together, like Hard to Tell, Where to Find Me, Shite Fest, and Honest.
I think it's like, Shitfist.
Yeah,
it is Shitfist. Sure,
he said shite.
Like, other than a couple of songs on here, I think that this is generally like, the songs on here have a unique identity. They stand out. I've been able to find moments to look forward to in most of the songs on here. Even like the non-singles, there were quite a few non-singles to get through. I wouldn't blame you if, like, what's the difference between Worst Part of You and Rock Bottom? But to me, that chorus of Worst Part of You is like one of my favorite moments on this album. But like, you asked me to compare Shitfist and Honest, and I'm like, I've listened to those songs like maybe 3 times each. Like, they're Bill Murray songs, all right. Like, they're good, but not my favorites by any means. Like, so like, I get what you're saying about that, but I think I'm just to a lesser extent on how you're feeling about this.
I didn't enjoy the singles when they came out, besides Always Let You Down, so I think that's probably part of my problem, is I just haven't spent enough time with them, maybe. But I Like, I could not tell you which of these dropped as singles, honestly. So
I think, well, you know more than Hate was a single.
true, yeah.
I think the end of the album might be the strongest 4 songs. I think Waves is like, what was the last closer? Drunk Enough, right? I don't think.
Yeah.
I think this is like the first like song that was like actually made to be a closer, because we know Drunk Enough wasn't. We know it was a single, and then he took it away and then put it back on the album. Yeah, it was a single, and then it wasn't, and then he took it off Spotify and put it back on the album and remixed it, I believe. There's like an old version, you can find it on YouTube anyway. But yeah, Waves definitely sounds like a closer, and that's one of the things I like to compliment this album on, is it has a beginning and an end, as opposed to American Motorsports, where it didn't really feel that way. Like, it's just
I'll agree with you. I
It's
thought
very
Waves was a great
distinct.
closer. This was one of the albums that I listened to, that I downloaded it to listen to it on my 7-hour flight home from Spain. So I got to give this quite a few listens on that flight home. And I think that probably helps with my opinion on it, because I was able to give it a lot of time. But yeah, I think as much as I was saying, like, you asked me to tell the difference between Shit Fist and Honest, I kind of can. I didn't really care for Honest, but I think that final stretch of Always Let You Down back then, not Honest, and Waves is a fantastic way to end the album.
But in general, what I've been seeing about this album, people think it's weaker than American Motorsports.
I would agree with
and
that.
I think I agree for the most part, other than, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know, actually. I'm kind of torn, like I said. Like, I could argue either way. Like, it's kind of like, I think this has like higher peaks, but then American Motorsports is more like
Distant.
it's flat, like
flat, yeah.
Yeah.
See, I feel the exact opposite.
Consistent. That's the word.
I wanted to make this point that I think American Motorsports worked as well as it did because it was something fresh and new. I feel like this album, while is
American Motorsports too.
Yeah.
Kinda, yeah. I can hear the progression because it's heavier, but I don't think that it separates itself enough from American Motorsports to feel like something. I think we talked about this with the singles too, but like, I feel like I don't want to say shtick, but the countryfication, the country core, it doesn't feel new anymore. And I feel like this album doesn't do enough of a job to make it not feel played out, in my opinion. I think that this is...
Do you think
yeah,
if he changed the lyrical content without necessarily changing the sound, it would work better?
I think so. And I think that it's just because country as a genre... I mean, there's the joke about like, drink my beer in my truck, and then I drive because I hate my wife, but I miss my wife and beer in my truck. Like it's one of those that, like, it's not far off because country touches on a lot of the same subject in the same way that metalcore won't shut the fuck up about the undertow. Oh my god. Anyway.
Yeah.
So I think that is a trap that you fall into if you're going to make something country or country adjacent or play with that sound. Because the twang does yield itself naturally to those subjects. But I think that American Motorsports did a good job of leaning into that aspect and expressing, like I had a toxic ex, but sometimes I miss them, and I've got this self-reflection that I need to do that, like, I can't be a great partner. Like, for instance, Always Let You Down touches on that exactly. Twice, I guess from what I can remember. More Than Hate for sure. But there are aspects of country that you can pull from and make a good song or album or whatever. But if you pull from too many aspects at once, you run the risk of it getting played out. And I think that's what happened here. I think that if you took this sound and to the extent that you could, wrote about something else, I think it would work a lot better. I think that's, sound aside, that's why I feel like I'm hearing the same song front to back on this album, is because it feels like they're all touching on the same niche of lyric. And there's not enough variety lyrically or sonically to be able to create an album that was as digestible as American Motorsports was. Did you ask that question because you have feelings about it? Like, do you wish that it was different or more varied lyrically?
Yeah, I think so. Like, prior to American Motorsports, what did he write about? I can't even remember. Like,
it was a lot of
Eggy Pocket is about.
Well, I don't know if Eggy Pocket as a whole has like a concept, which is I should know because I love that fucking album. But oftentimes he did write about relationships, but it was also more so like mental health, like a wide range of mental health, whether it be like other people's expectations, your own anxiety, like feeling distant from other people, depression, that sort of thing. And it was what made it's where the Bilmuri shtick came from, was that like he would name a song the most random bullshit you've ever heard, and then the song is about like not being able to participate as a functioning member of society because you feel so debilitatingly like depressed and anxious that like you can't do anything on a day-to-day basis. And the song would be, you know, egg with spaces in between the letters, like which I don't think it ever felt played out, even if he was writing about the same stuff, because no two songs sounded the same. Right? When the songs started sounding similar to each other was when his pre-American Motorsports material started to fall off, in my opinion. Like 400 Pound Back Squat, some of the songs on there were kind of samey. No two songs on Eggy Pocket sound the same. Yeah, I don't know. It's and I don't even think this is a bad album. It's just like there are a few highlights and the rest exist in the same space as one another. I don't feel a draw to re-listen to this album, is where I ultimately land, because I know what I'm getting from any given song. And if I want to get it, I'll just listen to one of the random ones that comes up in my playlist. Right? I think this is a weak album.
Kind of hard though. Where else are you getting?
It is. Hard? Don't get me wrong. It is kind of hard. Nobody is doing this like Bilmuri is. I just think he's running the risk of retreading his own ground, I think.
I think another thing, like, what was this? The 2 bonus tracks on the last album.
Oh,
one of them had Gabby featured.
One of them was The End. I don't remember what the other one was.
Either way, one of them had Gabby featured, and she's on like one song in this album.
Yeah. I think actually the 2 songs that I saved off of this, I want to say had were the 2 songs with saxophone, or like her vocals.
Yeah. So that was a little disappointing.
I agree. Like, why make her? Because she's an official member of the band now, right?
I don't know.
I thought she was.
I don't know.
Maybe
She's a touring member for sure.
She was in the music video with the Data Tomorrow feature. Day to Remember.
Yeah, but she was like a. Anyway, I don't know. I guess.
I was just gonna say,
she's like one of the judges. Yeah, well, why she needs to be more relevant, in my opinion.
I can get behind that. I can get behind that.
Yeah. I don't like. I like the album. I just know he can do more.
Yeah, agreed. And I think it makes it even more disappointing that Kinda Hard is the opener that it is, right? Because that's that old Bilmuri style of, I'm going to overtune all of the distortion and put random sound effects because I fucking can, and throw in an absurdly heavy moment. And, like, okay, you can still do that. Include more of those elements in... Like, it doesn't feel organic, this album, I mean. Like, there are some moments on here that to me feel distinctly Bilmuri, but by and large, I don't feel that in the way that I do with his older material. I will say, though, I like the Kinda Hard transition into Twice as like a first...
Yes.
Like, it was seamless. Yes. It worked really well. I was very impressed by that.
Yeah. How do we feel about the novelist feature? I'm kind of like...
It's one of the weaker
there.
songs on the album. It's very
there.
much just there.
Yeah, it being an instrumental only feature is weird because it's not like they like Gabby does do backing vocals on some of the songs in this album. I don't know which they are, but I remember hearing and it's like,
I know
okay, well,
Waves for sure.
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah, it's like, well, my point being that like if they've shown that they're not afraid, whether features, whether with Gabby, whatever. Gabby and the vocalist of Novelist low-key sound kind of similar. Like, it's not like she would feel out of place. Why not also get a vocal feature on here? Especially, oh my goodness, I had this thought. This whole album is about, like, relationships and, like, the back and forth dynamic and, like, missing them but not, and, like, the introspective aspect of it, of realizing where you fucked up to and why you might be a bad partner. Why not have more female vocals? You could have this whole like storytelling dynamic of like a back and forth, or like have Gabby sing a verse, or have the vocalist from Novelist sing a verse. Like, I think that's a missed opportunity, in my opinion. I would have loved to see them explore that and push the boundary a little bit more. That's what it is. This album doesn't push the boundary for me of this sound enough past what American Motorsports was to make it feel like a separate entity, or like I'm some sort of sonic progression that's meaningful. All they did, really, for me, this feels like American Motorsports, but with the guitars tuned a little bit lower. Like, and I
think the way that I would interpret what you're saying is that American Motorsports was a trendsetter moment
for sure
for the genre, and now it feels like Bilmuri has positioned himself to get leapfrogged by someone else who's willing to innovate more.
I would think so, which is crazy to me, because how is Bilmuri not the one innovating to the max? Like, that's always
like
been
Hardy
what
or
Bilmuri
something.
is. Right? Oh god, it probably is. Fuck, I forgot he existed until you said that. Yeah, I don't know. I'd like
Honorable mention to Lakeview. It could be Beartooth.
Oh no. Oh, you're so right. Holy fuck, it's gonna be Beartooth.
No.
Oh no.
Yeah, I feel like Lakeview are way too much in the country side of things to be relevant towards this like trend that Bilmuri's pioneering or has been pioneering. So, like, I don't think Lakeview could leapfrog Bilmuri at this point, but like he's definitely in the conversation.
Yeah. We you know what, you're right. We live in a world where Bilmuri could be out innovated in a genre space that they innovated themselves.
Yeah.
And that's never something I would have expected because of how creative this band has shown to be in the past. I don't think they demonstrated it here.
I feel like we should move on to our next few albums here. Justin, you've been quiet. It's finally your time.
Yay! Low
Say
Spirit
wise
has
words.
Low Spirit has dropped his album, Isn't Life Beautiful?
After listening to this album, it damn sure is.
So wholesome.
It's very good.
This album, it was sad, but also such a joy to listen to front to back. Because you can really feel how much heart and soul was put into every single song on this album. Like, there's so many personal touches from his life growing up and the hardships that he went through to the hardships he's currently going through with his chronic illness to hoping for a better future for his kid and wanting to make sure his kid thinks that the world is a beautiful place full of hope and happiness. And it's a beautiful album. It really is.
Yeah. The album itself, it doesn't feel its runtime. It's fairly short for 13 tracks, 39 minutes.
Yeah, I think I can agree with that.
I will say, while this album is great as a package, it's hard to separate individual songs and find ones to go back to for me.
I can agree with you there, because there's really only two, and one of them is XO to the Grave, which we talked about as a single.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the other one is one that you'll agree with me on, is North Star.
Yeah.
So what is I didn't have the chance to listen to this. What would you say the general vibe or like overarching genre of this album is? Because I've really, outside of XO to the Grave, I've only really ever heard him do features on EDM songs. So some of those EDM songs have been more like rock or metal influence. So is this like, is there a ton, like, are we getting some like riffs? Like what's the vibe of this? What are we looking at?
Yeah, let's. It's more akin to some of the slower songs that Dayseeker has done.
Okay.
So Sleep Talk,
Real
Starving
Pop?
to Be Empty.
Okay.
So it's kind of more akin to those. Like, you still do get some pretty good riffs, especially in XO to the Grave, Leeches, Growing Pains, and North Star. You still get some like pretty decently heavy instrumentation. He's got a really good vocal dynamic similar to that of Matt Gaskets, where just like his clean vocals just can drive the entire song. Doesn't really need to be amplified by anything else. But yeah, it's mostly kind of post-hardcore. You get some slower songs here and there, but I think if you enjoyed some of the not heavier tracks from Dayseeker, I think you're fine.
Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. Well, Starving to Be Empty is, I think, in my top 5 favorite songs ever. So I think I'll give that one a spin for sure. I mean, I know he's a great vocalist. His features on, like, there's that one Kaiwachi song, and he fucking kills it. He's up there with I will say, we've been talking about it a little bit, Audra Miller, rest in peace, Concrete Castles. Some artists just have voices that work tremendously on EDM songs, and I think that he's one of them for sure.
He did one with Aluminum.
Oh, I need to get to that album still, because the Bring Me song was fantastic, or the song with Bring Me on it. I don't know if you guys, I can't remember if you guys have heard it or not, if somebody posted it in the Discord.
I don't
Was
know.
it
If I
Odyssey?
heard it.
Oh, it fucks. You gotta get in there.
I know I heard the
Alright.
Shivering with Spirit Box, but that was a few years ago. I didn't catch wind of one with Bring Me though. If that's what
Yeah, I'm
you're
looking
saying.
at these. A couple I recognize, like the Mako feature, the Bring Me one. Yeah, I'll definitely.
Yeah,
tune
I would.
into that.
It's
Got some stuff to check out.
it's good. It's really good.
I
Anyway,
also want to
digress.
mention we've been talking about Growing Pains this entire episode, and I was really hinting at the song Growing Pains on this album that we're going to touch on.
That's what
Growing
it was?
Pains. That was what I was hinting at the entire time.
Dude, I thought you were gonna say some artists had Growing Pains. They're sad. I was waiting for the Jake critique.
No, it was. We've got a song called Growing Pains on this album right here, and it's a great song. That repeated chorus of "Nothing hurts like growing pains." It's. I really think that this album excels in context of the album. Most of my time spent with this album is like I'm about to like do my laundry and clean my room, and let me just put on the Low Spirit album and just let it run through however many songs until I'm done. Or I'm gonna start rough cutting through some raw footage for a video that I'm about to edit. Let me put on the new Low Spirit album to just run in the background while I'm cutting through some footage a little bit mindlessly. It's not an album like compared to the incredible albums from Bilmuri, Broadside, and As Everything Unfolds. This Low Spirit album also came out on the same day as the Wage War and Normandie EPs. Like, it's not an album that I'm going to for like replay listens of one song in particular. It's an album that I'm going to because Low Spirit is able to deliver on a sound and a vibe and an atmosphere, and I want to listen to that and get in the headspace of that more somber, appreciative kind of headspace.
It's good. I'm excited to listen to it. Sometimes we end up with albums that I haven't heard that I'm like, okay, like I'll put them on the backlog and I'll get to them when I get to them. But I think this month in particular, with As Everything Unfolds and Low Spirit, I'm very excited to get into them.
If I'm being honest, for you, Derek, I would actually prioritize this album over As Everything Unfolds.
Really? Okay, heard.
I think there is a higher likelihood of you appreciating this album.
This is probably the biggest argument for listening to an album in full instead of over singles.
Okay. Well, I like doing that, so
yeah,
I'm down.
All right, and with that Low Spirit album done, that's the last that I can contribute any meaningful discussion to this month. So I have been talking my ass off this entire time. Let me chill for a bit. Y'all, the floor is yours.
You're getting
Eric,
off your high horse?
I am getting off the high horse.
Wage War. Yeah, sure, Justin, I'll take it. Emarosa are back with their newest album in 7 years. Or no, I lied. I forgot about Sting. Oh, man. Well, you know what?
No. It's 7 years.
Yeah, it's like Wage War. They haven't released an album since Manic.
It's true. Icy Stars haven't done anything since Treehouse either.
Yeah, exactly.
Still waiting on Icy Stars to come back, huh?
Yeah.
Emarosa have released their newest album, High Horse 7. Well, we got to the last album without me having to... Oh, man. Justin, we both felt very similarly about Sting in that it is an album that maybe has like one or two good songs, but otherwise pretty forgettable.
It had a good song.
Oh, you know what? I would say so, but maybe not. Many are debating. You know what I feel like right now? You're like Socrates. I'm talking about how wise you are. We're like you and me. We're like two Greek philosophers chatting it up. That's what I'm feeling. I don't know.
You're sitting on your high horse in heaven.
Plato or something.
High horse heaven.
Yeah, Plato.
Sure.
It's like Play-Doh, but it's spelled like the stuff that you mold with your hands. That's me. I'm not old enough yet. I'm just Play-Doh. I'm not old enough to be Plato yet. I think that album, it was very 80s synth influenced, but it didn't feel like where I would have expected the band to evolve from Peach Club. Would you say that it's fair to say that this feels more like a successor to Peach Club than Sting did?
Oh, yes. Yeah, 100%.
I really appreciate... I feel the same way about Sunsleep, but it's very obvious when an artist in this space listens to the 1975 and listens to 80s music. And if you lean too much into either of those things, it's dangerous territory. But I think that this album rides that edge in a way that is, dare I say, perfectly executed. I know you made the comment, right, that you like this album as a whole, but that you didn't save any singles to your playlist. Is that still accurate?
Yeah, I mean, I would say so. There's some individual ones that I go back to, like Cherry Coke, Shoes, Sugarcane, and Ride.
So you just like sugar, is that what you're saying?
Apparently. And Shoes.
And Shoes feels very well, I would say like Wham, George Michael, but also like it reminds me. I feel like Shoes would be in a Goofy movie. You know the vibe? Like that's what I'm feeling.
Oh yeah.
I really appreciate how much confidence and swagger this album has. I think that that's something that Sting was missing, is that like, I don't know if it was just like the drugs or what, but like everybody in the 80s thought they were the shit. And they were chilling. You could walk around, maybe like boombox on your shoulder type beat, like you had swagger in your step and it was fine. And if you don't have that same confidence level, you have to like drip it and exude it. And if you don't have that, you can't pull the sound off. And I think that on the moments in this album, like Shoes in particular, it really nails that sound. He has the confidence to pull it off. Even like, I guess it's not quite the same, but like Automatic, right? Like if you touch on being better than another person necessarily, well, I shouldn't say better, but like in a relationship, right? That like, if you can say like, you know, fuck them, I'm my own person, I'm going to do what I want to, you have to have the confidence to do that. And he does. There's a weird amount of sex appeal on this album. It works because he pulls off that sound and that confidence well, but like this album rides a lot of fine lines that you either you pull it off or you don't, and there's no in between.
Yeah.
And he pulls it off. I shout out Automatic for sure. I really appreciate Give It Away, which I believe we just got done talking about So Much Country. I don't know if you guys listened to or have heard of George Strait. But there's a song of his called Give It Away, which I believe this is a reference to in terms of he's breaking up with his wife of however long, and she's like, just give it away. You know, give everything away. I don't care. I don't want any of this. And the final line of it is that like he's got this old broken heart full of love and he can't even give it away. And that this song in particular, I feel like is a direct parallel to that, and it calls back again to stuff from the 80s and the 90s that you got to be confident to pull off, and he does it. Good Enough has been going viral. Fantastic song. Kind of weird to say that Emarosa is going viral in 2026, but to be fair, I feel like I was gonna say they were putting out some shit that was way better than anything in mainstream pop in 2019. Yeah, I'm Moon and Back, kind of touching on sort of that same thing we were talking about with Low Spirit, right? That Moon and Back, I believe, is written to his son. I think he had a son. I think he and Rory Rodriguez from Dayseeker had kids at about the same time, and I can't remember if they both had daughters or if Bradley had a son. But anyway, that song being written to promising to be a better father and human for his kid, which seems to be a common theme with lead singers of Emarosa. If you know, you know. But anyway, to me, this makes so much sense. Sting did not make sense. It was the lines that he wrote didn't pull it off. This in spades. It doesn't overstay its welcome. It ebbs and flows perfectly. It has enough pop sensibility, but it also uses pop sensibility both from today's music as well as music from, holy shit, the 80s were 4 decades ago. That doesn't feel right. Not that I was alive, but fuck, I grew up on 80s music. It was always, it didn't feel too distant. The fact that 1980 was 46 years ago, oh jeez, people twice my age must be going through it, man. Holy fucking shit. I can't imagine being 50 right now. Anyway, yeah, I also would like to take a moment to highlight The Edge. Justin, I know you and I both really liked that song, but that it feels, from what I understand, The Edge is written as kind of like a letter of everything that happened between previous incidents with this band and now, and it feels very cathartic to listen to, so I can only imagine how cathartic it was to write and perform. I think it's a fantastic opener. I really like Nevermind as a closer. Everything in the middle is just smooth like butter, man. It really is such an easy album to listen to. This is like an ultimate like doing chores around the house album. Because like you need to have chill moments, you need to be able to dance like you can in the shoes. You got to include some sort of like swaggy walk around the living room. You got that with Automatic. It's great. You're not living life to the peak if you're not dancing around while you're doing whatever menial tasks that you have to do in day to day or the weekends. So I think this is a perfect album for that, and just it's polished, but in a way that gives it a better pop sensibility, not that it feels overproduced. Again, another very thin line to ride, and he pulls it off. I think that this feels like a love letter to various styles of music, and it's successful in all of them. I love it. Sorry, Justin, I know I yapped, but
I mean, you basically echoed everything I was gonna say. Like, I feel Emarosa's peak was Peach Club and 131, and Sting coming out kind of set them on the course for failure after that. So I was just kind of really interested to see where they went from there, and I'm glad it wasn't a total heel turn. It was a moment that's there, and now they're kind of back to what defined them.
Absolutely. I almost feel like this album couldn't have existed without Sting, because there are some elements from that album and that sound on here such that I feel like it was hard enough to make the heel turn, in my opinion, from post-hardcore to an album like Peach Club, so from 131 to Peach Club, and that doing another heel turn into something like 80s music without taking the right steps would have been too difficult. So it almost feels like they limit tested and then retracted back into this. But if Sting is what it took to get here, I'm more than happy to have that album be something that exists on the internet for sure, because this is a fantastic album front to back. I really, really enjoyed it.
Whew, that was a long episode.
Whew.
We haven't done.
I gotta pee like a motherfucker, bro.
We haven't done one like this in a while. I just quickly want to mention, I was on my soapbox talking about how this has been like one of my favorite months of music ever, and yet there are still so many singles and albums that we did not get a chance to talk about. So let me just quickly rattle off some names real quick. Honey Revenge, If Not For Me, Torrential Rain, As December Falls. Sachi 6 dropped 2 more songs this month. We got a new song from Afterlife. We got a new song from Varsity. We got a new song from Archers.
Varsity featuring Brian Butcher of Home Team.
And sleeper pick, Vanna dropped a new song, In Your Name. We talked about Prey late last year. Vanna dropping some heat as well. Just an unbelievable amount of incredible new music this month. And now I'm also going to lastly mention here my album that I listened to on my flight going to Spain. I finally listened to The Mortal Coil by Polaris for the first time.
Oh yeah.
So that got me through a lot of my trip in Spain. I was listening to that a lot. Specifically Casualty. Casualty has been the one song. It's like a deep cut. It's not like, I know Lucid and The Remedy are kind of like the 2 big songs off that album. But Casualty off of that, The Mortal Coil has been the one I've really been going back to. So much incredible new music this month. Do you guys have any other
shout out
playlist
shout
mentions?
out Long Last? They dropped their lead single, Pour Me Stories, off of an upcoming EP. I had already had so much, so I didn't clock it for this one, but it's really good.
Wolf and Bear dropped 2 new songs, Whiplash and Dr.
I listened to one of them and I was like, this is the most I've liked the Wolf and Bear song.
I bet it was Whiplash because I listened to it and I thought I might get Jake to like this. So if you heard that one,
and then it got a little heavy, and then I was like, I don't know.
It might have been Dr. Dude then. I don't remember. Fucking Dr.
It had like a really good chorus, whichever one it was.
It was probably Whiplash then. I'm back and forth. Just go listen to Whiplash. You'll like it if it's not the right one.
What a month April was. May is going to be another pretty good month for sure. Obviously, we already mentioned Nature's Ghost released an album, and we talked about Goodnight and Goodbye in this episode as a single. We'll talk about that album in full next month. I feel like there's other albums that I'm just like completely going over my
Beyond
head.
Awareness dropping their album this Friday.
Yeah, that's
The 8th.
that's a good shout. That's a good shout. Yeah. Dark Divine and Sachi 6. Those are the two big ones for me. That debut album from Sachi 6 is gonna hit. I am so excited.
Me too.
But anyway, that's going to be a wrap on our April recap. Oh boy, was it a long one. Hopefully, I will try and be more tame next month. It's been a while since I've added this many songs into a playlist. I've given myself enough enjoyment out of this episode to hold back a little more for the next few months. It's okay. Thank you for listening. You can follow us on social media, Hivemind Radio _ on Instagram and Twitter, Hivemind Radio on YouTube. Please subscribe. Help us get to 500 subscribers. That'd be awesome. Hivemind Recap Podcast on Spotify and other podcast platforms. We will see you next month.
I think before we end, Justin needs to leave us with some very wise words.
Agreed.
All right. What words? Hold on.
Beautiful. It's beautiful.
Cinema.
See you next week.
Bye.